Hospital Porter's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Herpanwo TV. Welcome to this. Blimey, what's going on today? Lots of things. Two things today. Big things. Firstly, I'm off to the Glastonbury Symposium. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Secondly, it's hearing day. You know, UFO hearings in the US Congress. So, yeah, a huge amount I'm prepared for today. How today will pan out, I don't know yet. We'll find out. But I will let you know, of course. Okay. First thing I have to do, though, is I have to work. So I've got about 2 hours of work to do, and then I'm going to head off. But I'll just show you a little bit about where I'm going. Alright guys, this is where I'm going, the Glastonbury Symposium, and you see some brilliant things here, don't you? There's the Glastonbury tour, radio telescope, Illuminati, crop circles, CCTV, Egypt, aliens, some spiritual things, nature, the solar flares. But this is just perfect for me, isn't it? So here we go. This is the UK's leading annual alternative conference. Well, I have to agree. And there's some more. There is some more promotion. You can get videos of past conferences. What to say about the event? Yeah, it says it gives you a brief series of things. It's been running now for 33 years and scheduled. Let's have a look what we got here. Oh, looks very interesting. I mean, we have here lots of stuff about mysteries of the moon, Mars. A few other Canadian Freedom Convoy. Trevor will love that. Out-of-body experiences. You may recognise some of the names on here. Actually, Andy Thomas talking about artificial intelligence. Gemma Cooper, she's appeared in my videos before, former BBC journalist. And Colin Woolford decoding Star Wars. Oh, those guys are going to be there. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yes, and you'll be seeing them later as well. And of course, you'll be seeing the Crafty Nihilists as well, because I've got to thank the Crafty Nihilists actually, because it's them, Liz and Mark, who persuaded me to go. So thanks very much to them. Well, I'm standing on Oxford Station for the third time in as many weeks, doing one of the things I hate the most, which is travelling by train. But well, it's not going to be all bad, of course. But sometimes it's the only way you can get from one place to another. So I finished work and I'm on my way. Well, welcome to Bath. I'm back here again. I was here about a year ago and now I'm back. It was the ASAP conference I was at last time. I'm back again, just left Bath station. It's about 10 to 2, which means the hearings are starting in about 70 minutes time. What I've got to do now, well, I'm not going to have a Boudica moment. So I think it'll be the first time I've been in Bath and not had a Boudica moment. Call it a negative ambition achieved. And well, actually I've got a crossover here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to find there's a Wetherspoons just up the road here, so you can't do better than watch a UFO hearing in a Spoons, can you? You gotta get in a Spoons to watch something like that. So that's where I'm heading now. It's called the King of Wessex. So royalty, man, royalty, yes. A very, very posh place, but place fit for kings. So I'm going to head there now. I know the thing, it doesn't start until it was at 10 AM Eastern, so that's 3 PM BST. I know there'll be a lot of people like streaming already. I've got to find a place I can get Wi-Fi. Like I've got my phone. I've got my laptop with me as well. Like I said if you watched the video I uploaded last night, waiting for the hearing, you'll know that I was going to bring my laptop and come here and find somewhere to watch it, because I'm going to the Glastonbury Symposium. I know that a lot of people will be streaming already. I'll be able to watch one of their live streams. Also, I know UFO Jesus is streaming at 2 PM in about 10 minutes time, so I might catch that. He doesn't do a lot of streaming. He just generally does uploads, but his first and most recent live stream is pretty good, so he's going to do another one. I know Christina Gomez is going to stream while it's going on. You can watch it on her channel because she'll be like embedding it. So I know exactly where I'm going because I've already checked it out on the map. It's up that way. So onwards and upwards to the spoons, I think. And then when that's all done and I've sorted that out of the way, I'll tell you more about obviously the Glastonbury Symposium. I don't know what's going to happen today though. We may end this day in a completely different world, you never know. Okay, I'm in the King of Wessex now, and UFO Jesus is not live streaming, but he's made this amusing thing, so I'm just going to wait now, and I'll report next when it's all over. Okay. Less than half an hour to go now. Witness Citizen, no one is streaming live at the moment. Witness Citizen has managed to get hold of an opening statement. David Grush has already published an opening statement and he's just reading it out now. I like this guy, he's cool. Well, it looks like Witness Citizen is going live in a few seconds to do some commentary. Guess who else is going live? Stephen Camden. Oh God, he's going live as well. Which one shall I watch? Easy decision. Okay, the stream is running on the YouTube channel for the GOP oversight. It's Republican, but of course it comes the oversight committee. Okay, it's about to start. Here we are, 10 o'clock, should come on in a moment now. There's a talk of extra witnesses. It could be Elizondo or someone, or it may even be this Jonathan Drake, and so you find out who he actually is. I must say, I'm biting my nails a bit, feel a bit apprehensive, afraid of disappointment. But still thrilled about the possibility of something better. Okay guys, wish me luck. If you're watching this, I wish you luck. And enjoy it. Like I said last night, you know, treat it like a cup final, World Cup final, FA Cup final, if you like football. I've got a beer, so do the same. I'll be watching this at home if I want to the Glastonbury Symposium. So check that out. I'm pleased to say that I've been joined by the Mark of the Crafty Nihilist. How you doing, Mark?
I'm very well. Finished work and good to see you, my friend.
You too.
Looking forward to a good weekend.
Definitely, me too. Yeah, we're just having a couple of pints here. The hearing is still going on, but we can always watch it later. It's been very interesting. I'll say that much. I'll say more about it later. Well, you've met Mark. We met with Liz now. Liz of the Crafties is here, and we decided to leave the hearing. But I think it's, at least for now, it's finished. It was 2 hours 16 minutes in the end. 2 hours 16 minutes. The first one was only an hour. The Senate one with Donkey and Conkerhead. That was like sorry, Scott Bray and Ronald Moultrie. That was one last year. That was only an hour. This one's gone for an hour. I listened to about an hour and a half of it before these guys arrived, and we'll watch the rest of it later. But you know, I'll say more later. But it's mind-blowing compared to what we've had before. It really is. And so we're now, the weather has turned quite nasty, and so we're sort of like making our way through the rain to get some shopping, and then we're going to go back to the Crafty Nihilist headquarters. So, this is Morrison's, isn't it? Morrison's in Bath, and I'm going to just see if in Woke Bath, have they got Nexus in here? It's usually with a sort of like, let's have a look, film. I don't think they do. They don't even have the segment where you normally find it. So there's kids' magazines.
Not looking promising.
No, it's not. I think there's no Nexus here. So no, the Isle of Man is better than Morrison's in Bath, definitely. So there you are.
I'm not surprised.
Crafty Nihilist headquarters, and this, you may recognise this from some of the videos.
This is the mess
if you do watch their channel, this is where they make the art and stuff. Yeah. This is, Liz, I remember you making some of these things. Yeah. What's that? Oh, the Roswell trilogy. Good taste. Yeah, you got them in order as well with the band. A nice one. And there's look, you got look, they got loads of. She got some good books on here. Oh, is that Supernatural by Graham Hancock?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a brilliant one. That is. Yeah. And there's these leaves and things. Yeah, you wave. Look at the skull there. This is I lovely area. This is look at all this. There's a train you just said because we're right by the railway line here.
In spaceships on
Oh right, now I've got this is the catering that you get at the Crafty Nihilist headquarters. You get spaceships on your coffee cup and dragon juice, crafty style. Yay! Well, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday morning. I have slept like Rip Van Winkle. I've had a wonderful night's sleep, and I must have really needed it. And we have woken up on a new day. And I'll tell you what, it's not Disclosure Day, and as I said earlier, I didn't think it would be, but it is. I mean, I really don't want to say too much about the hearing because I can't do it credit just on this video. This is not a video about the hearing. This is my reportage of the Glastonbury Symposium. But basically, UFO Twitter is going nuts. I'm not posting, but I'm not logged in anywhere. But I can look at what people are saying. I've just been watching Zabel and Coulthard, and yesterday's hearing. And I've watched the last bit, which I missed because, of course, as you know, the crafties actually turned up after about an hour and a half. It went on for 2 hours 14 minutes. And I've just watched the last part, and pretty much it is everything I hoped it would be. Put it that way. Short of it being big D disclosure, but then I did say this even though that lies within the agenda, within the scope of the agenda, which makes this hearing unique. I didn't think that would actually happen, but basically it was the citizen hearing. It reminds me. I've got to email Steve Bassett. So I'm talking to the crafties right now. They're in the next room. I've got to email Steve Bassett because as soon as I get back, I'm going to jump into a massive amount of work to do with this. So I suppose. Someone was asking me, don't you feel left out? And I suppose I do feel left out. But, you know, I booked to go to the Glastonbury Symposium several months ago, knowing that something like this might happen when I'm away, and I can't really do my usual commentary and analysis on it at the time. So that's life. That sometimes happens, and it's happened this time. But I did do my video last night, which I think will suffice, and maybe I'm able to put something up on the website when I'm in Glastonbury. Mind you, you'll have already seen that, and you'll know by now by the time I upload this. But anyway, I thought I'd just show you the headlines. This is amazing. This is the BBC. All right, and they've got the usual fear porn here. Last year's heatwave to be regarded as cool by the end of the century. So that's the actual headlines. Is what you'd expect. There's also an awful lot about the. Oh, I just have to scroll down. You need to. Oh my God, my kingdom for a mouse. I've got to put you down for a moment because I've got to scroll. Hang on. That's what's annoying about these damn pads. I wish. There's an awful lot here about the passing of the ending of the very tragic, troubled life of the singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor. And then finally you get down to feature and analysis. And scroll in again, guys. And it says here, aliens bring a divided US Congress together. Let's see what the Beeb has to say about it. Let's have a look. This is a very strange. There we go. I've not seen this yet. No, why don't I just use this arrow here at the bottom? Here we go. And you have here. There's the witnesses: David Grush, David Fravor, and Brian Graves. If there's truth out there, the Congress wants to know. I mean, this is not going to be ideal. This is the BBC, after all. Oh, good grief! They're focusing on that badge. That is somewhere in that. I still want to believe badge, which is fair enough. Human or non-human. Well, I'm not going to read this in detail now. As you saw, Jeremy Corbell was sitting at the back. There's George Knapp was not sitting on the front bench behind the witnesses. There was Jeremy Corbell, alien incompetence. Let's have a look. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that now. It probably won't be very good, being the BBC. But it's we'll have to see. We'll have to see what. Like I said, it's going to be. This is going to have an effect. I'll say this much. Okay, this is an unprecedented event in the U.S. government. This has never happened before. Nothing like this has ever happened before in terms of the nature of this particular hearing, and this is highly significant. This is the citizen hearing for real, and these 2 hours 14 minutes. It was at 2 hours. Let's have a look. What was it? 2 hours. I want to get this right. Sorry, 2 hours 34 minutes. Sorry about that. 2 hours 34 minutes. Those 2 hours 34 minutes are just the start. There's going to be more hearings. I mean, the Senate has to have another hearing, probably with Gillibrand chairing. There's going to need to be more. This is going to be a long process that has just begun, but it could end with big D disclosure. I mean, it seems like the Congress are now they're asserting themselves in the face of an intransigent military-industrial complex. And remember, the United States is just one country. Others can do their bit as well. But now, for now, I think I'm sitting in this lovely room. This is like an art studio here, with lots of paintings and lots of books, including it's a very good reading taste they've got in this house. They've got there's also the first edition of Rudloe, so it's quite something. I'll plug my laptop in a minute. Okay, guys. So, I can't really say much more right now. When I get back, I'm gonna have a lot to do. I've got to email Stephen Bassett, like I said, because I've got to do an interview with him. I've got to do Third Rail Radio. I'm going to do an analysis with Trevor on Third Rail Radio. Literally as soon as I walk through the door on Monday, I'm going to do an analysis with Trevor on Third Rail Radio. Then I'm going to do an analysis with Terry Joyce on Not My Rabbit Hole. Then probably several others as things as well. So I will do a proper video stroke live stream on this subject before I upload this, put it that way. So you've probably already seen it. So anyway, it's Thursday morning. We're heading for Glastonbury later, but there's no rush. We can sort of take our time today because the conference doesn't start till tomorrow. Okay, guys, I'm just going to show you a couple of things on the computer which may be interesting. Now, this is the GOP Oversight YouTube channel, and I'm just going to show you a couple of things which I think are very telling. Now, first of all, we have here a list of the various videos they've put up here. So we have here Subcommittee on Cybersecurity Information Technology, 6.4 thousand views. Senate Subcommittee Senate Subcommittee on the C-word, P-word hearing, 22,000. It's not bad. Full committee markup, that's the whole day, 4,000. Joint Subcommittee hearing, 13,000. Subcommittee on Economic Growth and Energy Policy, 5,000. Subcommittee on Healthcare and Financial, 4.1 thousand. Subcommittee on National Border Foreign Affairs and Unidentified Flying, basically it's the whole UAP, Unidentified Anomalous Flying, 896,000 views. And that's pretty good, isn't it? Even better, well, there's more actually. The full committee hearing here is 248,000, and that includes about the Biden criminal investigation. Oh yes, IRS whistleblowers, there you go. So I think we basically say YouTube audiences are voting with their feet when it comes to this issue, or the important issues, not just the UFOs, but the Biden thing, Biden criminal investigation. And they're the ones that people are interested in, and that says it all. Now I'm just going to do a little bit more, just here show you that these are just the running notes I made, and you can pause and read these. I'll just scroll down. I won't say anything more about these. The CRs is just short for crash retrievals, there you go. And you can just have a little quick read of that there. I'll say more about these points in a future video. I'm not going to say anything today about them, but there you go. Alright. Thought I'd show you some more, obviously, of these books. I thought I'd show you some more of these books. Obviously, as you can see, they've got very good reading taste here. Who or What Were They by Alan Godfrey, yes. Supernatural, Graham Hancock, that's excellent. And another Graham Hancock, Magicians of the Gods. There's another supernatural edition there. And lots of other things like that. Lots of George Orwell there, this is good, yeah. David Icke, The Trigger, yeah. Your Thoughts Are Not Your Own, Neil Sanders. That's the one he wrote before he went Scapper. And there's a bit of, I thought it was David Hatcher Childress there, but The Shadow Covenant. So that's that kind of style. Lots of stuff about UFOs up here, yeah. And down here they have Alien Agenda, yeah, Jim Mars, The Shining Ones. Oh, Nexus magazine, of course. They're very into science fiction as well. Frank Herbert's Dune trilogy. I've read the first one of that, the original Dune books. Well, Catch-22 I couldn't get into. That's a classic one, that is a classic satire. And as you can see, they are very, very dedicated dickheads here. And they're into Arthur C. Clarke, nice one. And down here's The Lost Boys, Thomas Mann, and here's some classic literature as well, Tom Wolfe. And The Outsider by Colin Wilson. Colin Wilson, of course, was, you probably guessed what I'm going to say, he was a hospital porter, yes. Mammoth Book of Pirates, Homer's Odyssey. Oh, well, that's quite a lot of stuff here. So yes, quite. They're quite interesting reading. This family, I must say. They've got some more over here. Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. You got a classic one, that, yeah. Brilliant. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Box, Wiltshire, and this is Lawn House, which is now a B&B. Lovely old place, this. And it says here, Wilbert V. Audrey, clergyman and author, lived here, 1920 to 1928. But there's a picture. And this is I've got to correct an error I made in my of Mongoose and Man video.
Very, very rude.
Yes, it wasn't the Isle of Man that inspired the whole Sodor thing. Must have been apocryphal. I don't know. I can't even remember where I heard it, but it was actually here in Box that the Reverend, because he was a clergyman, he was ordained, where he actually got inspired to learn about by railways. He sort of fell in love with the railways living here.
He heard the whistles in his bed when he was little.
Yes, to the railway.
We're going to walk up.
We're going to go there now. Yes. Well, there's the blue flag.
He used to hear the whistles in his bed, and he thought that they had personalities.
Yeah,
so that's why he did their little faces and their little.
He was sleeping in this house here, and from this distance, as I know from experience, because the Crafty Knights headquarters is also very close. It's literally just a few yards from this house. You can actually hear the railway from here, and of course in his time it was steam locomotives, and he used to listen to their whistling, and apparently the shunting wagon, they used to have freight shunters here, and they actually used coded whistle blasts to communicate, the drivers. They didn't have radio in those days, and Wardry always felt, the young boy, when he was a young boy, felt that it was actually the trains and the engines themselves, the locomotives, that were speaking to each other. And that's what inspired him to imagine locomotives as living beings with faces and personalities, which, of course, is the basis of the Thomas the Tank Engine series of books. There's some woodsmen over there in the woods. But just to show you how close we are to the Box Tunnel, this is the western portal of Box Tunnel. This was built by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, a famous engineer. There's this bridge over here, you can see. We came through there yesterday on the train, actually. And how long is this? 3 miles long?
Yeah, 3 miles long.
3 miles. It takes about
around his birthday, Brunel's birthday. You can see the sun the other side.
Yeah, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes for the train to get through it. It's really quite. You go really into the Stygian darkness. And can we get closer, Mark? Is there a pathway? Yeah, so yeah, it's a bit noisy, but I'll speak up so you can hear me. There's a tree, see there's a wood chipper over there. So shut up, Steve mumbling. And here we are, Box Tunnel. You pause and read this. Built, here we are. Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Constructed 1836 to 1841. West Portal cleaned and restored in 1886 by the British Railway Western Region. Lost in 1986. Railway Heritage Trust, Wiltshire. Box Parish Council. To commemorate the 150th anniversary. This is a great.
This house is literally behind those trees.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and this is like, yeah, it's just through those trees there. This is like a train spotting place. Although it's probably better in winter when some of the undergrowth is gone.
You can see it much better.
Yeah, but trains come through here over this bridge and into the Box Tunnel over there. Alright, well, thanks for showing us that, guys. And that is what inspired, it's this area we're in now which inspired Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah. This is a fake tree. It's actually like a telegraph pole. It's not wood, it's got a door in it. And apparently it's something to do with 5G. Don't know why exactly.
Well, yeah, it's certainly telecommunications, you know, EE or whatever. So it went up relatively recently in the last few years, so it's probably was upgrading technology for 5G.
Well.
So they're cutting down the real trees and putting up fake ones with bloody 5G in them.
Oh, and that's typical. They paved paradise to put up a parking lot, yes.
You've got like, unfortunately, you got another, I know they're everywhere, but another tower you can see at the top of the hill. Telecommunications, 5G, etc., whatever. All the Gs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. If you wait long enough, a train will come through here. It's the main line. I don't know if it's...
They're all fucking cancelled these days.
Oh, yeah. Is there a strike today? Maybe about the strike, I don't know. I've only heard like about 2 trains since we've been at your place.
They're usually...
Maybe there's a strike. Yeah. Anyway, normally you'd see trains coming through here every few minutes. But it looks really dark, doesn't it? I find it interesting, actually, the word for a... It's the official engineering term, actually, for an entrance to a tunnel is a portal.
Right, yeah.
I think that's very interesting, but that is actually true. They're called portals.
Especially around here.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the tunnel, there's entrances to the underground bases.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yes, we'll be seeing a bit more of those later, but there is an underground base network in this area.
Underneath us.
Yeah, and that is not secret. It's been acknowledged, so we're going to go...
Yeah, there's actually... In the tunnel somewhere, there is actually entrances where you can go in and go to the underground base. Obviously, you can't now, but there was entrances actually built in the tunnel to get this.
There's so much which is about underground. Obviously, you've got the tunnel, you've got the underground base, but this was all around a quarry for taking the stone out, which a lot of the stone which they use, the Bath stone in construction in Bath, you know. So there's caves, there's quarries, and then they've got all the tunnels and an underground military base. There's so much underground going on, you know.
It's strange, that, isn't it? Yes.
You hear the hum. Well, I hear the hum quite a lot. I haven't heard it for years, but then heard it again for the first time 2 nights ago.
It's funny because some of my friends in Wales are complaining. They live in South Wales and they're complaining about the hum.
Yeah, we get it around here.
And this is where some people experience a strange noise. It's almost like a tinnitus type noise, but it's more. It's definitely external noise, but some people hear and others can't. It's heard in various places all over the world, but in particular locations. But anyway, we're now going to go and investigate the rest of this strange subterranean world. Guys, we're in the Crafty Nana's car now, and we're heading for Rudloe Manor, which is one of the most prominent parts of this massive underground network, where it pokes above the surface. So we'll say more when we get there. We're all a bit nervous, it's a bit of tension, but that's all part of the fun. We're now walking up. Now this is not Rudloe Manor. This is something like it's got an electric gate, some posh place. There's no CCTV. No one's asked for the password, but it's that kind of place, isn't it? It's that kind of like Illuminati place. So, but that's not Rudloe Manor. But we just asked the local guy looks like he's cutting the hedges. And I said, do you know where Rudloe Manor is? He says in a strong local accent, no, I've never heard of it.
He's not from Wales.
They all say that round here, don't they? Guys, we've arrived at RAF Rudloe Manor. First thing that greets you when you walk down this road is a pillbox. This is an anti-aircraft gun emplacement which was used in World War II to prevent attacks by the Luftwaffe. This place would have been very, very targeted for bombing by the Luftwaffe, because this used to be where the RAF command was in World War II. You may have seen in the old movies, there's this giant map on a table and people are moving pieces around with long sticks. It was underground, it was deep underground here. What they used to actually be a Bath stone mine. This was limestone that they used to mine to build. Actually went into building lot of the city of Bath, and then it was abandoned eventually and then reused in World War II as defence headquarters. And since then, it still remains. The underground section has been expanded since then. A lot of this apparently has been shut down and it's currently in redevelopment. But the rest of the underground bases are still alive and well. We're going to be taking you to see those soon. This itself is a 17th century manor house, which has been through various states of redevelopment and disrepair over its years. We're going to go up to the gate. It's still owned. It's still not open to the public.
They said it was being
renovated now.
Somebody said.
And it may well be repurchased by the Ministry of Defence for use in the future. You never know. The flagpoles here, there used to be like a flag on there. The gate is open.
Oh my God.
All right.
That's just play ignorant.
Yeah.
Get in there.
What a wonderful place. Oh my goodness me, yes. Yeah, oh wow. I'm sure our friends in the United States, they pretend to be American tourists. Ah, yes, what a lovely place. Yeah, this is a quaint English stately home, and we're just coming in to have a look. Yeah. They're obviously not that bothered though, are they?
Is that the royal family looking at us from the window?
It could be, I don't know.
It's Camilla. It's the royal family staring at us from the big-headed royal family.
Oh my God, it's the reptiles.
It's the reptile house.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. So this is where this all used to happen here. Right. Let's have a look up here. See, there's a flag. The flag's gone now. No worries. In that order. Yeah.
It didn't say private property.
No, it doesn't. The gate's open. Yeah. Look at that.
Eyes wide shut, anybody?
Yeah. But this is actually not in use now. But it could be reappropriated. You never know. It's that kind of. It's got a creepy atmosphere actually here.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's speaking.
This building, this outbuilding here is boarded up. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Let's have a look up here. It reminds me of that film Sleuth, doesn't it? You can imagine see Laurence Olivier, Michael Caine. Sort of Michael Caine dressed as a clown.
We won't be doing this at night.
Yeah, I don't know what's in there. What's this here? Oh, it's Biden. Oh, of course he's visiting, isn't he?
Charles.
Oh, sorry, that's King Charles. Sorry, can't tell those two apart. They're both old. Yeah. Site office. Oh yeah. Danger, no entry. All right. Okay. They're obviously doing building work in here. Right. There's not much to see here, it seems, but that was just someone dropping down, wasn't it? There were some builders in there. Just some builders. So, but that was interesting. We could say we've been inside RAF Rudloe Manor, but I think when we go to our next location, the security is going to be a little more tight.
Oh yeah, that's.
Rudloe Manor now, we're heading for somewhere else. I'm very surprised we could get that close, because we watched an episode of Ancient Aliens last night, where Giorgio and Nick Pope,
Nick
the dope,
Nick the Pope
himself, did a stakeout, and well, that gate was shut and locked, and with all kinds of warning signs on. As you can see, it's wide open. We just walked in. No one tried to stop us. But well, we noticed. Well, I didn't notice. I shouldn't have brought. I haven't got my glasses on, but. I thought it was Joe Biden, but apparently it's the King, a poster of with a picture of the King on it, and next to him was Queen Camilla,
and then
William and Kate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then it was William and Kate, or Kate and William next to him, 4 people. So we're wondering if this is going to be a royal official residence. All it says on Wikipedia is it's currently under renovation. It doesn't say what for.
There was always rumours that if there was a nuclear whatever, it would be Box and here that they would come to.
Yeah. Well, there was a huge amount of. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say there's a huge this house. The basement of this house connects to a vast underground structure, which I said used to be a limestone mine, and then became a military headquarters when World War II broke out, and. So it is now being converted into some kind of survivalist shelter for the elite.
Yeah,
we know they.
Big reservoir, so they wouldn't have to. They've got their own water supply.
A local person said that they're doing a new development round there at the top of this road, which they don't know what it's about, and there was a councilman measuring it out the road just to.
Yeah, that's right. There was a guy.
And the woman who lives there asked the surveyor, "What are you doing?" He said, "I don't know."
Yeah, there's a.
It's very secretive.
Yes, there's this posh couple. You saw that electric gate. There was a posh couple in their car came out and asked us if we were part of the development team. We said no, we're just looking around. They're very nice, but it's clear they were curious.
Yeah. I mean, Camilla's obviously got. I mean, she is She lives around here. She's got a place here.
Kingsbury, I think, or somewhere like
Laycock, isn't it? She's got
Oh, Laycock, yeah, that's
She's got property around here, has she?
Just down the road.
Right, yes, that's interesting. Queen Camilla already has some existing property around here. Also, you know, it's like, as we know, I mean, one of the things that's often theorised, and has been for many years, is that the Illuminati plan to basically demolish society and crash it. Well, they go to some luxury bunker somewhere.
We just found it.
And yeah, there was Nexus magazine had an article about this. Well, they allow the rest of society to collapse, and then they'll come out and build their new world order from the ruins. That's an idea that's been around for a long time, and it may be true. It may be true. Maybe when their plan is they're going to carry out the fake alien invasion, obliterate all the cities and kill most of us. The rest of us will sort of run around like, you know, beheading each other like in Mad Max. And then when that's the system has gone like completely run its course, when that process has run its course, they'll come out of their luxury bunkers and they'll have their new world order. Maybe that's their plan. And
where to go.
this could be where some of them, probably the Windsors, are going to wait. They're going to wait out in their little reptilian lizard houses underground where the old base used to be. So that's just a theory, but makes perfect sense, I'd say. We've noticed they have like little water tanks as well, which is probably just a part of their private water supply. So there you go.
In a minute, there's a housing estate.
Right, now this is what was it called? Copenhagen, right.
But they turned it into a housing estate a few years ago.
Spooky woods there.
You can see there's sort of.
All right, but apparently this is a housing estate.
Houses on the left.
Yeah, but
all of that used to be Copenhagen.
Right, but it used to be the upper part of the underground base. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
My mum used to work there as a cook, and she used to make all these meals, and they used to put them on all these trolleys to send down for the people that were working in the underground bit. So all of this used to be called Copenhagen.
Right.
You'll probably be able to find an old picture of it then.
Well, I'll have a look later and see if I
All
can
this
find
was
it.
Copenhagen, and if you keep video,
Yeah, you got Copenhagen Way. It
there's
says
like
there.
a turret thing in a minute.
Right. Now, I've spoken before when I went to Peasmore, and it's looking for the entrance of the Peasmore base. Remember Sauder's laws? Now, one of Sauder's laws is that you find strange structures.
Left, on the left.
Oh, yep, there he is. With a bit of non-conformist folk art on it. Copenhagen Way, there you go. One of Sauder's laws is look for strange structures that appear to be air vents. You know, they often have a heat haze around them because they're designed to remove heat from the underground facility. They're also to let air in because it has to be ventilated by air from the outside. So
we're going to be we're going into Corsham now, so we turn right and there's the MOD Corsham.
Right. Yeah.
And there's loads of those little vents.
Yeah, we went
see it better on Google Earth.
We will have a look at the various locations. We'll get as close as we can to them, but obviously I'm not Matthew Williams. I don't have a drone, you know, and I can't go up to see someone and say, "Show us the fucking aliens, you fucking prick," and things like that. That doesn't really work. But you know, I might try. But I'll come back here when I'm drunk. Okay, so we're now we're going through Corsham now.
Mason's Way.
It's Mason's Way, yeah. And there's, you say this is all, there's RAF barracks around here?
Yeah, I mean, they've built so much, they've expanded it so much, it's hard to know what is RAF and what isn't, but you will see some like walled, fenced up stuff that you can't go in, which is still 100% the MOD.
Yes, it's still, a lot of this, even though RAF Manor is not, a lot of this area is still active, it's still an active military base. And the underground base is very extensive. It actually goes as far as Box Tunnel, and apparently even goes underneath the Crafty Nihilis headquarters. And if you actually look on there's some images of the extent.
Look left.
Oh, CCC.
Whoa.
Computer
Of course, there's another bunker there, another sort of.
Do you want to pull up and take a proper look at that, or do you just want to keep driving?
I don't know, you can't see much from there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's like posh houses over here on the left that's all to do with it.
Right, but see, this is really quite a spooky place,
That's
isn't it?
all to do, you know, that's all.
That looks like kind of on the weird. The energy here is.
No, I always think that's an alien road. It's called Allen Road. I always think that's Alien Road.
Yeah. Oh look, see, yeah. Do you see the bunker?
Do you want to have a little drive down there? I went down there with my ex-husband, and that's where they started, the camera thing started coming out of the.
Well, yes, we could try. I mean, it's public highway. We can use it.
Two-side entrance.
Okay, here we go. Right, what are we here? Where are we here?
I'm just going to do it. No through.
Footpath, right. Okay.
Come on, mate.
Hudswell Lane, this is called. And then down there is another. Look at the barbed wire fence on that gate there. This is caution, 2 side entrances. Look at the barbed wire.
We're just pleading ignorance if somebody ever tells us
We'll
so.
just tell them. Well, I mean, there's nothing to do as long as we're on public land. There's nothing they can do. But we're going to just have a look at a little closer look down this road here, where there are actually some what looks like, again, according to Sauder's laws, what looks like air vents for an underground facility. Because that's one of the signs. There's something they can't hide. If you have an underground facility, an underground base, you have to have somewhere to let the good air in and to let the bad air out.
That little boy.
This little kid, he's looking really. I won't film him, but there's a little kid looking really scared at us. Well, at least he's got road sense. It's nice he's got road sense, bless him.
That's so interesting.
It says there's children at play around here. Anyway, this is the location we're heading for.
Give him a wave, Mark. Ben, give your little boy a wave.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Isn't he cute? Oh, fine. And we're going to head down here and have a look at this sort of thing here. Okay, we should get a closer look. And gents, we've come into this area here. Now, we'll look up more later, perhaps on Google Earth, what this is.
Caution Computer Centre.
This is part of the Caution Computer Centre, which is down there. There's a gate. You may have seen Matthew Williams to hang around by that gate, you know, mouthing off at the police. Right. Now this is, I don't know what are these things? They look simply like brick mounds, brick structures with no obvious purpose. We're going to have to look quick look around them. There's no holes in them. There's no gratings. There's nothing to indicate this is an air vent.
Maybe it used to be.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah. It may well be. We'll look up later and see. And there's one of them. And here's the other one. Looks like it's been here a while. And here's the other one. There's another thing over there we're going to have a look at in a minute. It's a nice little park actually. There's a children's play area over there. And you go around here and there's nothing much here. Right. Okay, so we're going to have a look at these things over here now. The crafties have gone ahead of me. And have a look. We now something. This is TPS 46. I'll tell you what place is that website.
Probe site.
Is it what? Oh, what's this now? This looks a bit more interesting. There's something like there is some kind of grating here, and something goes down. Oh, it's a well of some kind. You can see people chuck rubbish down there. It looks like it's some kind of tunnel, and there's an echo. There's an audible echo. There's also a ladder, a built-in ladder on the side of this structure here. Yeah. Yeah. You hear groaning. That's zombies.
It reminds me, you know, the first Star Wars film? When they get sucked in there, then there's a monster and the wall starts shut.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yes. Look, there's more here, look. There's more. What's this? This looks to be like another, it's a railway railing built around another well.
See this? It goes, so that'll go like that and then it'll go down?
It does, yeah, there's a mound here that goes down like that. It looks like there's a tunnel that goes sort of downwards here at this point.
That will be going down.
We should look at Subterranean Britannica. You know Subterranean Britannica? It's a good website where they have a list of all the nuclear bunkers and things and other underground bases.
Why would they tell?
Well, it's a lot of them are only semi-secret. But see, we have these strange brick structures on this here. This is clearly the surface extrusion of an underground facility. There's no heat. I can't feel any warmth coming off this. There's no warmth coming off it. No, it feels hello? It's definitely an echo. Yeah. There's a doggy. Yeah. But there's I can't feel any warmth coming off it. I don't think that's an air vent. Anyway, we'll look up later online to see what that might be. I did video a bit of this bit, no, there's not this bit coming up now. No, you see, there's a Quonset hut there, another closed entrance,
and the cricket.
And cricket. This is the most secure cricket ground in history. Yeah, something. But they're playing cricket. good on them. Yeah, I say. Good on them. Jolly good sport. And I think it's like that Quonset is actually a cricket pavilion. But we go along here. There's a windsock.
Skynet Drive on the right.
Right, that is Skynet Drive.
And where's that?
Hawthorne site.
The sign about it's gone. Or is that up here a bit? There's a sign about microgenes or something.
Yeah. Oh right.
On the right.
Yes. Skynet, of course, those you probably know, is part of the Five Eyes satellite network. It's a series of satellites used for reconnaissance and communication between defence assets.
Pharmaxo and microgenetics.
All delivers Bath ASU Pharmaxo. Yeah, microgenetics. Yeah, that's the microgenes thing.
Park.
Caution, all right.
So that means.
I suppose it's a park with lots of signs in caution, but that's just a guess. But there you go, that's Skynet Drive, ladies and gents. It's named after the satellites.
So that's what they do, isn't it? They have a lot of these so-called private companies.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's different from the government, but they're actually really.
Well, yeah, regular viewers will know that it's long suspected. In fact, I found the only real evidence I found.
Right over there is where they used to have men stood there with machine guns.
Right, it seems to be some kind of fire station now, but
it's not a fire station.
Is it not?
No, we don't have fire stations.
So what are the reds? What are fire
I
engines
don't
for?
know, but it's not a fire
Right,
station.
I see. Right, maybe they're special MOD
There always used to be a box there, and it had a man in it with a machine gun.
Oh God!
And all these buildings, look, run down. Yeah, right. They've got a big pyramid thing up here.
I think that's where they filmed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, in one of these places. But look, there's a big communications antenna there. There's more. That's the science park on the right. Regular viewers will know that I found distinct evidence of some underground workings at the Oxford Science Centre, which is what was it called? What's the place called? Anyway, I found some distinct
There's
evidence
one of those
of
like air hole things. See it?
Oh yeah. Yep, I see there's a structure there. Yeah, I see there's a structure.
Can you read what that says?
This is prohibited. What? What's it say?
Prohibited place within the meaning of the Official Secrets Act. Unauthorised persons entering the area may be arrested and prosecuted. All visitors to report to the guard room. Privately owned vehicles are parked on MOD land entirely at owner's risk.
Right, right, I see. Now, regular viewers will know that I went to not the Oxford Science Park. I forgot what it's called now. But then you see that structure there. But I found a spoil mound which indicates there's distinct evidence of some kind of underground structure there. This is a place called Sia.
They're all round here, those things. You've got to turn round.
So this.
Just going to turn round.
Yep, this is where I was looking for one of the entrances to the Peasmore base, AL/449, and couldn't find any direct evidence, but I did find a spoil mound. Look, it was not marked on any map. So anyway, that was an interesting look around, wasn't it, at various places. If we remember, I'll incorporate the crafties have kindly allowed me to use one of their videos and incorporate it into mine. It's a short single scene video. Look at that. There's clearly that's an underground facility. That's probably a reservoir, another bigger one. There's probably millions of gallons of water in there.
Right as well.
Yeah, and
like all these lumps.
You've got your air vents.
There's your air vents, yeah. Sounds like. Look at that. There's more stuff over there. Yeah. But we'll show you it anyway. We'll show you the scene in which they saw something strange being taken into.
Just before lockdown.
Yeah. Yep. What was that blue? Oh, that's a very old building there. Yeah. What was that? That blue box? I mean, it had written on the side of it. What was written on the side of it? We actually managed to. We actually managed to find out what it was, and it is. Well, I'll say off camera what that was. We'll come back to that in a minute, because as you know, as you probably tell, we're not actually filming all this in order. No prizes for guessing the continuity errors, guys. But we'll go into that in a little while. Okay, this is subterraneanbritannica.com. It's actually a subreddit. And we're fascinated by man-made and man-used underground places, mines, railway tunnels, military defences, nuclear bunkers. Right, so let's have a look. Let's see where we're going here. I'm going to try and find what we're looking for. Actually, I'll come back when I found it. This is Google Earth. Can't quite see. Now, this is where we were. Those two square structures we saw. about 3 feet high. Over here, and there's a playground I showed you, and under these trees is the area where we saw those big tunnels leading off and the wells. So we'll try and find out more. I can't really say for sure exactly where we are, but I'll just have a sort of scroll around. I can do this probably with one finger. Oops, there we go. Somewhere near here is the computer centre. I'll just find out. This is the place where we're at, and you can see there's the simple label CCC. If I close Street View, you'll find it's this actual it's this junction here, Peel Circus, which is near the dog walking park. It's just a short distance from the dog walking park, where those big square things were. Somewhere in this area here, probably around here somewhere, underground, like I said, there's the dog walking park with the 2 square structures, and maybe it's something. This is the RAF Air Cadets, Rudloe Manor, and if you go here, you see a lot of images. The Caution Computer Centre, which includes the thing we saw there, the thing in that park. Here is what's the secret bases for part 4? Secret bases UK, right. Oh, secret bases, let's check this out. That seems to be an old cached one. No worries. This, guys, this is the video. I see there's a police car flashing, and this is filmed from the Crafty's car, obviously, you can see. But you see there's a big thing on the blue box on the lorry. There's this big, what's this big blue box? I think I wrote an article about this on Panmo Voice. I recognise this spot because there's that antenna at the top of the hill. Liz? Liz?
Yeah, there was a little mini roundabout just
Yeah.
just around the corner from that Skynet Drive.
Liz, I'm watching it now.
Oh yeah.
This is the video. No, you can't hear it, but Liz was swearing her head off in this.
So you know when so if you went down
There's that antenna,
there,
yeah.
that was the hill and that was where the people used to be with their machine guns.
Alright.
So you come up the hill, roundabout.
We went past there because there's that big antenna there.
Yeah.
We went all round,
But there's this big lorry with this big blue box on it. And the police had closed the
three
road
lorries. There's
to allow
about three.
to all these giant lorries through. And yeah. So this is on the Crafty Gnarlish channel here. The Philosopher's Moan, High Strangeness at Rudloe Manor, D-Wave Giant Server, Crash Retrieval, and it says here Blade. I wrote an article about this. I'll look it up. Hang on, look it up anyway.
Three of them.
Yeah, it goes on for ages.
I think that's enough there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now heading for Glastonbury. So, well, that's when the conference and the main event begins. I should point out I've really not been feeling too good the last hour or two. It's just got a lot to do, I think, with the weather, because the weather here the sun's come out now, but it's very humid, cloudy, humid kind of weather. It's one of those days where you just wish it would rain. It would feel better. Funny enough, I mean, Liz mentioned this as well. That Rudloe Manor has a really horrible energy, and I must say, since I went into that, I felt this kind of like lethargy, this lack of energy. I've been yawning my head off continuously. I do it, yeah.
You got a good night's sleep last night.
And I had a really good night's sleep, yeah, as well. And I think it had a lot to do with that. So now we're heading for Glastonbury. I mean, I think probably what happened is when you get into Glastonbury, that energetic problems are solved. It all wears off when you're there. So I'm looking forward to that, getting there enormously, you know.
I might just naturally take us there, but I've got to go straight on instead of down to the High Street.
Yeah.
But then what?
We'll find. We're now on the last road before Glastonbury. Now
East Compton at the moment.
East Compton. What you'll find is now what's going to happen now is you're always going to think you're closer to Glastonbury than you actually are.
You do think
because what happens on this road I found is you get I think this is the road I went on last time. You get a kind of time-spatial dilation.
I always get this, Ben.
Yeah, it's a spatial, and it's as if the distance is longer than it looks like. It's almost like there's an expansion, almost like the TARDIS, you know, the Doctor Who's TARDIS, which is bigger on the inside. This whole area is bigger on the inside than the outside, and you get a kind of hyper-dimensional warp. I'm starting to sound like one of them, aren't I? I'm starting to sound like a hippie.
It's actually true.
I can feel my energy lifting already, though. I can actually feel it. Yeah, I can feel it already. I'm gonna be in a very strange mood the next few days, but we're now getting closer and closer to it.
We're going into Pilton.
Pilton. This is one of the little villages along the way.
Excited.
It is. I'm starting. Yeah, I am.
Excited.
I am. I'm feeling it now already. Yeah.
This is the dawning
Of the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius. Oh, this is. It was, you know, before you know long. I mean, you know, in 3 days I'll grow my hair really long. You know, that's what I'll do. And I'll start wearing those little round John Lennon glasses with the purple lenses and things like that. I'll end up looking.
Get some tie-dye.
I'll be on the phone to Niall Murphy asking him for advice. Oh, good old Niall. Niall always told me he used to talk about Glastonbury a lot. Yeah. You should want to see the tour soon.
Not yet, though.
Not yet.
It
Not
lies.
yet. Oh,
This
right.
road lies.
It does. Like I say,
I get the exact same
look at that
thing.
view. That was beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. I don't know how much you can see of this, ladies and gents. It may not be visible on the camera, but there's a lovely view out the window. Oh. Despite us still yawn, my energy's picking up. It really is.
You've lost it.
Oh, never mind. I'll tell my joke.
You've
All right.
told us this, but I can't remember what the
All right.
answer is.
What do you call a man who is a very controversial radio show host and a chef at a curry house? Joe Rogan Josh. I'll tell you.
I reckon coming up now, Ben.
Oh, and there's the tour. You can see the tour. Yay. You just see in the distance there.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, that's it, just about. As I said, this road always seems to be longer than it is. We went past Pilton, which is actually where the Glastonbury Festival is held, which is actually just a corporate it's just a corporate whorehouse now. Apparently they have facial recognition software there, and they wouldn't show that film about Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah, there it is again. See how close we are?
Fantastic sight.
Gets better in a minute.
When you think it used to be surrounded by water back in the pagan times, and that was coming out of the Isle of Avalon, and it was.
Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? There it is. You know, it's why it's called the Isle of Avalon, yeah, because it used to be marshland and channels for ships and things. Yeah, I thought it was all drained.
That's exciting.
Oh, nice. It's so. But when I first made up that joke and I told it, I laughed so much it was unbelievable. That's right. So it's. I was with the Sophie the Port's poet and her husband Chris, and we'd just been to see Richard D. Hall at Weston-super-Mare. We dropped in here on the way back, and I was only in there for a few hours, and I was like, it was really amazing, just the energy of the place, like put me into another frame of mind almost immediately. And we were only there for a few hours. We dropped in the G and I can't remember what year, a few years back. We had a pint in the G and P, and then just got back in the car and headed off. It was a nice drive.
Going to see Richard.
Yeah, hopefully when Richard's this legal shit is sorted out, Richard will get back on tour again. That's what I'm hoping. We're nearly there now, ladies and gents, so yours until the next point of interest. And there we are. You can see it. There is the Glastonbury tour really up close. We are there. And we're really entering. I can feel the energy building. We're entering Glastonbury proper now. And there's, it's like... Oh, it reminds me of that solstice thing that Niall did. They had Morris dancing up there. It's on his Shamanic Freedom radio show, which unfortunately I think you can get. There's a few of them on archive.org if you want to listen to them. They're really brilliant. That's I am the talking breath. I am the spirit of the earth. I am I am is beautiful. And they was just chanting that over and over again. It was just lovely, and there were like different tones and harmonies and things. And I remember it for so well. I think that was actually the Beltane one, because I was listening to that just before my Beltane Oxford May morning video, which I did. Yeah. Okay. And this is it. The first look, I've just got out the car. This is my first look at the street we're staying in, and we're staying at a house called Universal Harmony, which is very Glastonbury-like actually. And wow, it's just I can already sense the kind of atmosphere. I don't know about you, Liz, but
Yeah,
I can feel it at the moment I come into town.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's number 85. Which is number? Let's look at the numbers. That's 46.
Over
It's
there,
on
I
this
think.
side, right? So somewhere over there. Well, this is where we're staying, ladies and gents. You come in here. There's like a little key thing. We had those on the Isle of Man. You come in here, and it's like a wooden cabin in the garden of this house. And look at it. There's these different rooms here. Liz is just smudging the place. There's these double beds here. There's those two beds here. Look at that little tapestry on there. There's ooh, that smells lovely.
Yeah.
Liz is just smudging the place. And there is the double room there for the married couple. That's the honeymoon suite for these two. And we have here lounge.
I think there's a smoke alarm.
All right, okay. We've got all kinds of books. We have like a kitchen. They've left us some things here. Kettle. Oh man, we got. Look at the teapot and everything, and more embroidery and tapestry, and we've got these books to read as well. Yeah, including 50 Shades of Grey, erotica for the not too modern male. That's good. That's good. And I'll just show you the bog. Here we go. We have a walk-in shower, toilet, and sink. It's all very small and compact, and there's actually going to be 5 of us in here, but I think it's going to be nice. I think it's going to be pleasant. With people who know each other well, and it's got a lovely atmosphere in here. And Liz is just smudging the place to put some positive energy into it, because it's really like even more positive energy here in Glastonbury. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we've got to head. Well, I think we deserve a pint, don't we, Mark?
Yeah.
We had a bit of I won't go into details. We had a bit of trouble getting in here.
I've had a bit of trouble myself.
Yes. And the phone number they gave us was wrong, and I spoke to a rather indignant man who told me I shouldn't have had his phone number. So that's not very helpful. So
Indignant man.
the organiser was not very helpful in that sense. But yeah, we're now going to yes.
Get a glass of bloody wine.
We're going to go to the old G&P, I think, or somewhere else, and have a nice pint of the old alcoholic therapy.
Yep.
Yes, I think we've earned it. And rising above the rooftops is the Glastonbury Church on the high street. We know where we are now. You can just see where it's like Blackpool Tower. It's like an aerial guide for navigation. So we're heading for the high street now to get a much deserved pint of something or glass of something. I think we've all earned it. Yeah. God's Gift Emporium. That's our first nice shop, and it's got like stand in a park flag. That's brilliant. Lots of other really interesting things here. Tie-dyes and that. Everything any self-respecting hippie fashion conscious person would want. And we're getting close to the famous high street now. I know I always get like a big burst of energy whenever I turn this corner. I really do.
That's the fumes. It's all the weed.
That's the maybe. There's traffic fumes as well. Unfortunately, this is a very busy road. That's the one sad thing. It is a very, very busy road. There's lots of traffic. It's annoying. But yeah, it is Glastonbury High Street. Look at that. Oh, I can smell it. Can you smell that stuff? Yes. One thing you cannot convey is the smell of this place. Wow. We're here, and I can already hear music, and there's lots of like ethical shops and things like that, and nautical Coffee Zero, Jesus the Christ Soul Therapy Centre, the Sound Healer. The original co-op, the original like independent supermarket's gone, replaced by a co-op, but that's not the end of the world. Could have been worse. At least it's not a bloody Tesco. Mind you, Tesco's name is dirt around here, I bet you. It's probably the closest you can get in the modern world to like Woodstock or something. One of these like famous 60s rock festivals. Maybe the original Glastonbury, which is why it's meant to be like a British Woodstock. Look at that. There's a bookshop over there, still there. Labyrinth Books. There's the church.
There's a estate agent over there. I went to that estate agent with that pseudo friend of mine because she was going to buy a house here. There's nowhere else in the world like this. They've even got a Welsh baker here, burns the bread. I'll do an entire video about what is down that alleyway.
No, I mean that doesn't make it homeless. I mean you could end up homeless next week.
And for last, yeah, sure. Last, Liz, what do you want to drink?
Don't worry, I'm not sure yet.
Okay, see you in a minute. And last, and definitely not least, the good old Georgian Pilgrim. Let's go in there, I think. Definitely. Gonna head in there. We are now finally in the Georgian Pilgrim. We're having a much deserved series of drinks. Cheers, everyone. And everything looks exactly as I left it. It looks perfect, except for one thing. Okay, there we go. Look what they put up. No comment. I've started feeling myself getting high already. I've only been in Glastonbury half an hour and I'm feeling myself getting really high. We've been talking about time travel and the possibility of it, quantum physics and Eastern mysticism, and what the bleep do we know? Yes.
I've only been here 5 minutes.
We've got to go. Cloud Atlas is next, I swear to you. That's next. And like I say, yeah, I'm sitting here in a good old G&P. There's a thing about New Zealand on that lampshade. There's a thing about witches on that little sampler over there, whatever it is. And yeah, the toilets are still in the same place, despite the rather conventional and not very inspiring bunting. I'm still happy here, and I can feel the energy growing within me. Yeah, yeah, it's great. We can have a nap if you want. Go back and have a nap. Yeah. This area has not changed at all. We've still got that clock and a chair and this little corridor going down here, and this is all these little exhibitions which I remember are still here. And apart from the bunting, it's still like really, really nice here. And I just had a text message. That's another thing I remember actually. You don't get where we're sitting now in this little booth. There is no phone signal, but I just had a text message. If you walk up there is a signal. So I think we're going to head off in a minute.
Yeah,
anyway,
we want to head off now.
Just been into the co-op. We bought some groceries, and of course it's an average co-op. You can put, and they do accept cash, of course. There's a cashless till. But look at this. We're happy to accept cash or cards. I've got nothing against cards. It's when it's cards only that I have a problem. But have a look. You can pause and read this. Now just pause and read it. I mean, I don't need to read this out because I've made this point I've made all these points so many times myself that you do not need me to read this out. But you can pause and read it. It's Goddess Conference Crone. The Crone Goddess. How wicked. This is very, very typical of Glastonbury actually. The flight of the dragonfly. So Mark has made me aware of this, and I'm very, very pleased. And I'll when this shop reopens, I'll come in and I'll say how much I appreciate what they're doing.
Buy a strange hat.
Yeah. So
Maybe some 16-year-old. I don't know what the fuck
you
you're
see,
talking about.
this is probably not. But you see, this is the contrast you find in Glastonbury, right? You find that the fringe, that is the counterculture, is both. Some of it's very, very switched on, and some of it's very, very dumbed down. So, for example, the dumbed down means in Georgian Pilgrim they now have the pride bunting up, right? That's the dumbed down area. But then, of course, at the same time, you have that. And indeed, what was that ridiculous Mariana in Conspiracy Land radio show that I reviewed recently on the Panama Voice is a perfect example. Because the thing is, I know Mariana Trench is a bloody propagandist. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Niall called it that. It's a joke. Niall Murphy made that up.
Asked if it's a joke.
Yeah, Mariana Trench is, of course, a propagandist, but she did mention in Totnes there's now a split between the counterculture, which is like very, very aware, and the counterculture which is dumbed down. So, and I'm now seeing this in Glastonbury. I've seen two examples in Glastonbury, a very, very red-pilled, aware counterculture, and very, very blue-pilled, conformist counterculture. So that's interesting. I wonder if I'm going to see any more examples of this over the weekend. We're now returning to our lovely little self-catering cabin. Pretty weird, but it's an example of how, I am in a different frame of mind since I came to Glastonbury. What happened was Colin texted us and said that he's not going to be there till about 6:30 because, he's traffic and stuff like that because he's got to drive down after work, and of course by then he's in the rush hour. But it's what's strange is it's like I said we should go back and we got to be there when Colin arrives, and it was a really weird thing. But they said, why do we have to be there when Colin arrives? We've texted him we've texted him the door code. You can just go in there. And as I said, but we've got to be there to welcome him.
Honestly, I said I don't know if he's Colin's
got to be there to welcome.
boyfriend.
And as Mark said, in the West Country you can be both.
That's the way I speak.
But it's like,
That's 6.
but it's really weird. But I feel like I've dropped some ease. I really do. It's that I felt we've got to be there when Colin arrives so we can welcome him with a big hug. It's like
He punches you in the face.
it's a very weird thing. But anyway, we are heading back there. Gemma apparently is already at the place, and Colin is. She'll probably bring Uncle Tony with her. He's probably going to be there. He's not staying with us, but he'll be visiting. And Colin will. He may sluggle up in the bed with us.
Futon.
He can cuddle into the futon. Yeah. But generally speaking. Where she's there, Colin will probably be turning up later, but it's just a really weird thing to say and think, and it's just obviously I was joking about the ease. I've had nothing intoxicating except for Manor do stout, Cornish stout from sunny Cornwall, and I've had a pint of very warm Black Down cider, or whatever it was called, which came from a box on the bar, so it was warm and still. Yeah, it was not bad, but it would be nicer if it was chilled. So, oh God, I thought it was a bit strong. Yeah. So we're going to head back to our lovely little spot now. We're going to meet our friends. This is the place we're staying again. It's typically Glastonbury Universal Harmony Retreat, and I've got a beer. I've got a bee or a wasp buzzing round my ear as we walk towards our cabin in the back garden. My good friend, comrade and space brother, Colin is here. Hello, Colin.
Hello.
He has finally arrived, and he was a bit early actually, and we're now sharing a room. It's all very cosy,
Could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But this is. Can I sleep on this side? Because I'm near the door.
Yeah,
cheers, mate. And well, we'll see how it goes. But if I snore, I'm going to move out, or if he snores, we can move
If
out.
aliens come through the window,
They'll get Colin first.
Well, no, exactly.
Unless they like a challenge. So yeah, but basically this is actually a really, really nice, simple, elegant little place, like a mountain. It's like a log cabin in the mountains, It's it's actually really nice. It is.
Do you think that means that only opens up? Just unlock it.
Gemma's here as well. I wasn't told. I haven't filmed it yet, but yeah. Holy excrement. There has to be a Mercury retrograde, and it's only in Glastonbury where the energy is so intense that you feel it the way you do. It has the effect it does. We've now had 2 foul-ups and confusion over the keys. I don't blame the people. It was on both occasions they were quite simple mistakes that anyone could make, but they both happened within about 2 hours of each other, and I'm like, holy excrement. I've literally, we went out to have dinner. I don't want to go into details right now. Basically, we couldn't lock up the hut, so I had to take my bag with me, my computer and everything in it, and I was going to have to carry that around all evening, and we thought we might have lost the key and we couldn't unlock. We could never lock the cabin at all. We were always going to have to leave it unlocked. I have to explain to the host afterwards that we couldn't lock up at all, and now the whole thing's unlocked. We have to replace the key, get the locks changed, and it was just a very, very simple error. Just like before, on both occasions, there were simple mistakes anyone could make, and they both happened at the same time. They both happened at exactly the same, on exactly the same day, and it's like a kind of, it is a Mercury retrograde. I swear it's a Mercury retrograde. And it struck in a way it only can in Glastonbury when these energies are so powerful. Anyway, it's sorted now. It's all sorted now. And I'm going to go back to the restaurant. Luckily in Glastonbury is a small place and everywhere's within about 10 minutes walk of each other. So I'm going to go back to the restaurant. I'm going to have some food. Sorted. You know what, I'm desperate for my dinner. I'm pissed off about the whole key situation. But I cannot, well, this is another good one here, that's a voodoo thing, but I cannot stop but pause and look at that mural. Isn't that incredible? That is, there are no words for that, that is unbelievable. Yeah. I'm here with Colin.
Hello.
We're having some, what's this, North Street cider?
Yeah, it's about 4.8.
Yeah, it's not mallet cider, we're going to try that later. It's a 4.8. It's not. I think the thing I had earlier was it was a bit strong side, 6.8, which might have made me feel a bit funny. But you're sitting on this bench. That table's more comfortable. We don't want to sit on that. I was going to go straight back home because I'm really knackered, but I thought I've got to have a nightcap with Colin. So
It's only half 8. You can't be going to bed at this time, man.
the night is young. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is, like, I'm not an 18-year-old hospital porter anymore. And I get like tired, you know what I mean? So I don't want to sound feeble, but you know, that's just the way I am. Just, I've never been like a big wild raver, you know. I've never happened. So anyway, we're just gonna have a drink now, and then we'll decide what we want to do. But I think there's actually a speaker tonight. Gemma and Tony have gone to see him.
I was going to go, but then
Is Gemma going to text you or something?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but anyway, I've decided not to.
What did you think about the hearing?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I only watched it last night. I didn't actually see it at the time because I was at work, so I watched it on twice the speed. So I watched it in like just over an hour. But yeah, I was actually quite impressed. You know, the sort of seemed one of the most high-profile things that they've had. And I was quite impressed with David. Is it David Grush?
David Grush.
Yeah, Grush. Yeah, Grush. Depending how you pronounce it. But yeah, I mean, well, at the end of the day, it just sort of kicks the can down the road, I suppose, a bit more to the next thing, really. But I mean, it was still quite, you know, if you're into the subject, then it's still quite a big, impressive thing to have. And
Very, yeah. I think you've understated it slightly, to be honest. And I think you're.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think it kicks the can. I mean, obviously, I might be wrong, you might be right, but you know, I think what we witnessed was something extraordinary. We witnessed the kind of subjects that only conspiracy lunatics have been talking about, being spoken about seriously in an official government setting.
I think
that is extraordinary.
Yeah, and he brought up the dark side of the subject as well, like people being threatened and things like that. And like, I think one of the questions was, you know, do you know anyone who's been murdered as a result of threats on this? And then he sort of implied that I think he did, or at least he couldn't talk about it, which kind of implied that, you know, he was aware of that. So
well,
that aspect's normally talked about as well. So
he became a bit uncomfortable, like he did when he was talking to Ross Coulthart. He clearly became uncomfortable with that particular subject. But he did something, you know, one of them asked him, Mr. Grush, have you ever been in fear of your life? And he said yes. Now that in itself indicates that this military-industrial complex, and let's remember, this is the first time in history the US Congress has dealt with lies on the ground rather than lights in the sky. Because all the previous ones, like the hearing of the 1968 Condon Committee and the Robertson panel of 1952, it was always it was basically summed up by there are some strange things in the sky we can't explain. What are they? Well, we know what some of them are. They're weather balloons and swamp gas and things like that, but the rest we don't know. But, well, we're just going to put them on the back burner and not think about them for a while, but we're just going to sit tight and assess and things like that. That's basically what that crappy thing last year in the Senate was as well.
yeah.
But this is different. This is groundbreaking in my view.
No, I mean,
This is the first time they've gone beyond that.
Crash retrievals, bodies, and things like that.
They've gone beyond that, and they've said there are lights in the sky we can't explain, and some of them
are obviously the work of non-human technology. That wasn't even questioned this time. This time they said, the question is, what is our own nation, our own military-industrial complex, and it includes private companies that are not state actors. What the hell are they doing with it, and why are they? How does this relate to our government, our people? That's my own view anyway. That's a bit of a rant, but
I think it's a fair comment, and it was quite high profile. I mean, they had a lot of important people, in government there as well, and bipartisan issue, as they say, and all that sort of thing. But I just hope, to be a fly on the wall in one of these skiff meetings, that's when you would get all the juicy stuff.
Well, exactly, yeah. But I mean, the skiffs and the confidential hearings are obviously going to happen. It's all part of the process. It all has to be cleared there before it's talked about. To be honest, the hearing we had yesterday was essentially what has already taken place in a congressional closed session. So, as we know, Grush, and not just Grush, but many other whistleblowers have spoken to Congress in a closed session. So what we saw here was essentially a public version of that. And it's true. I mean, the BBC even reported on it, and we've had. Obviously they had the fear porn about climate change. There was a lot of our stories about the very sad and tragic end to the sad life of Sinead O'Connor, the singer-songwriter. But then below that, in the features, it said, "Aliens unite the divided Congress." That's how the BBC, of course, have to portray it. And Colin, if someone had told me, even 2 years ago this would happen, I'd have said, you must be joking. Maybe in 20 years, maybe 30 years, but not now.
Everything's going on behind the scenes. It's just a case of how they, I kind of feel like there is multiple groups fighting behind the scenes, and it's like a race to some finish line or something. And I think one side wants to, I think they see it as maybe a possible get-out clause to bring more fear and terror into society, and the other one wants to bring more positive aspects, such as the idea, we're not alone, that we have these technologies that can be back engineered, and so you can see it being used by two different groups for different methods. So they might both be pro disclosure in their own way, but for their own sad agendas. Yes. And that's the real bottom line of. I guess we'll find out who's got the power. The actual power behind because whatever story we do get, we'll know that those people are generally the ones in charge. So it's going to be interesting.
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so. And I think we're going to have to face. We sort of that is a precipice that is always looming just under our feet. Is this some kind of psyop for the last card? The last card.
Yeah. Well, it has to be some sort of last card, because once you've gone that far, then you're living in a different world almost. With the idea that you're not alone, and you've got such technologies that can free us from slavery, literally. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. But
it could be just
there's been so much dark in the world. It's sometimes almost, you have to slap yourself to think, well, isn't it just going to be more of the same? I'm not totally like that. I do feel like, things are moving in a more positive way, and a lot of things are coming to light, but I think there's a lot more dark stuff still to come out.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm under no illusion that there isn't dark aspects to the subject, because they're not, like Stephen Greer says, all, fun-loving aliens out there, because clearly if you look at the subject and are aware of things like cattle mutilations and that, then that's clearly not the case. And there's lots of neutral things, and it's just like it's probably here on this planet. You wouldn't label the whole human race just because of, a section of people.
And we're just one species, and we exhibit a wide variety of behaviours. The ATs, seem to have very, very different behaviours and agendas, and there's lots of different species. I think they've obviously come from more than one place. And so, of course, at some point they're the subject of the darkest aspects: abductions, cattle mutilations, and indeed other animals have been mutilated, wild animals, pets, and we're not immune, as Richard D. Hall's talked about. I know a lot of people like to think that it's different for us, but there's no reason to think why these ETs would see us. Why should they see us as anything other than a particularly intelligent upright ape? It's possible they don't see us like that. No. They don't see us as particularly special. No. And we have to face that.
Ultimate bogeyman. If you want to put people in their place, if you're not going to do it with another virus, because people have probably thought through that, then by all means show them, film footage of aliens blowing up White House and things like that, and that'll put the fear of God into them.
Yeah, as I said in my video I uploaded, but before I came away, it could easily be simply a prelude to some massive false flag.
Yeah, I think, I think
it's a possibility, because they stopped the old C word very quickly, didn't they? Basically, in November 2021, there was a hard stop on it, which was clearly an emergency stop, and then they've obviously not going to give up just now. They're going to think of other things, and it could be they will go double or quits at some time and go for the fake alien invasion. Alternatively, supposing the White Hats, the 17th letter, which we can't say on YouTube, supposing the 17th letter people are now in control of the truth embargo, and this is actually a period of controlled disclosure, it's an opportunity we can't afford to miss. And this is why I say we have to walk a tight line between excessive naivety and excessive cynicism. That's my view, anyway.
No, that's fair enough. Regarding the PSYOP.
Shit, I thought that was Julian. Sorry, dear.
Regarding the PSYOP thing, I think they don't even need to show something.
I thought that was Julie Phelps. That's really embarrassing.
No, but it's but no, they could actually present footage. There's March just coming in now, so it might be a good time to cut it loose here. But no, I was just going to say they could show footage from years and years ago and say, "Oh, look what happened. This happened in the '60s." It could be just manipulated images and things like that.
Yeah.
And,
hey, mate, all right. You carry on.
So yeah, I mean, we should be wary, but it might not necessarily be like a brand new attack like a 9/11 thing. It might be something. Well, we kept this footage hidden from the 1970s, the 1950s, the 60s, and it may well be real. There might be some truth to that footage. They could just read it out and say, "Well, this is what we've been keeping from you all this time," and it's just another. Well, whatever it will be, it'll be used. It'll be used for some reason, whether to keep us under. We've got to take a chip or something, or some sort of social control. It won't be saying, you can do what you like. It will involve some sort of lockdown or some sort of oppression, basically.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. It's definitely. I'm a bit embarrassed there because a woman walked past me. I thought it was Julie Phelps. It looked just like. I didn't bring my glasses. I need to get them out.
Never mind.
That's a good T-shirt anyway. All you got on there. Nice the dolphin.
Save the dolphins.
It's very Glastonbury.
Save the dolphins. Yeah. Save mankind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, Colin.
Thank you.
All right, I am now heading back. Had a lovely dinner after all the fuss around with the keys. Had a really, really nice dinner with my friends, and some of them have gone to see a talk. There's a talk at a private event this evening at a place called Silver Street. Apparently someone set up a meeting house or something. Some of them have gone there. Colin and Mark actually turned up, and because you heard he's in the G&P with Colin, they may end up going and joining Gemma and Tony at this event. I'm now reaching the point where I am tired, really, really tired. I think it's the energy of this place. It really takes it out of me. I think it's the intensity of it all. And so I'm going to go back to the house or the cabin that we're in. And I'm going to have a rest. And it's been a day of confusion, Mercury retrogrades, tension, tiredness, Illuminati buildings that turned out to be building sites, weird tunnels and air vents, beer, stout, cider, fish and chips, a log cabin and wine. Not bad, I'd say, for one day. Let's see if we can match it tomorrow. Well, the conference begins in earnest tomorrow. Doors open 9:20 at the town hall. So that's where I'm going to head with my friends tomorrow morning. And so, I'll have a little rest, I think. I think I'll listen to Stephen Cambion and his take on the hearings. Greetings and salutations, friends. My brave basic assessment is this guy's a wackadoo, and these people, these are UFO circle jerkers. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash! I'm on the right ride. So, it's funny, I was saying to Colin, this guy drives me nuts. But, I watch at least 2 of his shows every week. Strange, isn't it? Anyway, guys,
it's freshened up a bit actually. It's raining very light. The humidity's dried down a bit, so hopefully tonight it'll be a comfortable enough sleep. So yeah, it's a lovely Thursday evening in Glastonbury, and so I'm going to head back home. Well, good morning everyone. It's Friday morning. The conferences are going to start soon, and I'm here with Colin. And
Morning.
do you sleep all right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't. But so this is my usual insomnia. Maybe it's sort of a new bed that exacerbated it. But yeah, I sort of slept a bit. I mean, I'm not completely sleepless. But what I'll do is I'll make sure I choose a seat at the back. You know, because the usual reason, I don't want the speaker to see me dropping off. So that's what I'm going to do. But basically, we're having breakfast. We're all getting up. And then we're going to head over there. The doors open at 9:20, but the regulars have advised me there's not much point getting there. There's not much point getting there that early because it's just hanging around. But, you know, I might get there a little bit late, maybe 1:45, just to, you know, see if I see anyone who I know. Because Miles is going to be there. Andy Thomas, I know. I mean, a few pieces of speaker. We've got 2 speakers in this little house of ours. You know, it's Colin and Gemma.
I've been looking for them everywhere. I can't find them there.
So this is a lovely little spot here in our back garden. There's like an alleyway in our back garden here.
I'm not sure if that was a pub or something last night, because I saw people sitting out there, but I think it's just someone's house.
It is a pizza oven. That's obviously a pizza oven, but they've got like a little. They've got little pizza, like a little public area. A lot of Glastonbury's like this, you know. A lot of it's like that. Yeah. So, so we get ready to go now. Well, we're heading now for the venue. After a very long preamble, it looks like the Glastonbury Symposium is about to begin. I'm here with Colin. The others are going to follow along later, and we have quite a lot to. Yes, we have quite a long day ahead of us. I'll tell you more about the speakers as we go along. But we have the first one looks interesting actually. I'm not going to see all the speakers. I remember this from last time, Colin, because in 2010 it's just a bit much.
Yeah.
It just becomes overwhelming, and it just gets a bit too. It's just as you get into information overload. You know what I mean?
I know.
And it gets too much. So I'm going to be very selective about who I see. I will be deliberately
Studying the form guide.
What the fuck is this? Here, hang on. Oh, God. One of my pockets is open. Hang on a sec. Sorry, guys. Someone's been trying to... No, I thought someone had been trying to pick my pocket. They haven't. Yeah. But anyway, we are now commencing. We're just walking there. There's Barrett Door there. And so we're approaching Glastonbury High Street. And we are going to... Yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to this. Yeah, that's... It's like, oh, right, with the Turin Shroud. So we're just looking at these... we're looking at these pavement screevings. Look. That's nice, isn't it? There's an Amerindian... You see that, and there's a lady. Yeah, we're walking down the high street.
Egyptian one here.
Is there? Oh, there's another one here. Yeah,
Isn't it not?
It is not. Yeah, that's the path of the sun through the sky. From there's the Nile going down the middle, and there's the sun going from east to west. Yeah, there's some more simpler ones. Coventry City FC. Yeah, blue on one step on.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, that's a good thing about Glastonbury. So it is a place where I feel you could. It's one of my favourite places actually. There's some more out there. Look at that. There's some. Yeah. I think they're Harry. Yes, I think they're Harry Krishnas. I don't know what they are. Maybe viewers can enlighten me. There's these beautiful quarters there. Sorry?
Free thinking people. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Free thinkers.
Free thinkers. Yeah, good for them. Well, you know, I mean, I'm not one for like the crystal shops and things like that, because there's all kinds of bloody endless. You know, art and crystals, these are witch shops, and you get broomsticks and pointy hats and things. But for me, it's the bookshops I'm interested in. Yeah, it's typical Glastonbury. And There's lovely photos in there, photography. And so there's loads of all these pastel coloured houses above it. And of course, Star Child. There's lots of you get essential oils and herbs and things as well. And of course the G&P, if you're into more conventional. The Speaking Tree bookshop, yeah, it's popping there. I've been in the Speaking Tree before. Yeah. I'm curious to see how much has changed since 2010. Probably not a lot. There's Glastonbury Abbey there. Oh god, they've got the old you-know-what up there, although above the town hall. I think I showed that you yesterday. But we're now approaching Glastonbury Town Hall, and let's have a look at it. And here it is. Well, it looks like the famous phone box is gone, but not to worry. That's for regular viewers will know what I mean by that. And here is the
it doesn't look too big.
Glastonbury Symposium. Expand your horizon, yeah. So, time to go in, I think, Cole.
Yeah.
This is the merchandise area. That's all Andy Thomas's books here, and other similar ones. We have here. Hello, how are you doing? I'm just getting a shot of your stuff.
Vibration essences that I've made myself.
Oh, nice.
Pink lotus, white lotus. That pink
beautiful.
lotus is made with that actual flower.
Oh, look, well-being essences.
Yeah, it's really
Oh, nice.
uplifting mood, uplifting skin.
Oh, they look lovely, yeah.
Thank you.
They look great. Thanks very much. Oh, brilliant, yeah. And this, these are nice. These pictures. These images of the Greek things, Egyptian. Portal to Ascension Conference, Glastonbury. All right. And that's in the assembly rooms. That's where we've got Laura Eisenhower. That's cool. A few people I know. A lot of these I don't know. Magenta Pixie I know. I don't know. Nice images here. Nice. EMF optimizer. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Nice. There's all sorts of things here. And of course, you see, I was just getting a few shots for my. I like to, take memories, gather memories of my time here. And of course, Nexus. That's the latest issue there. So it should be arriving on my place pretty soon. Marcus is not here yet, but he is going to turn up later, so we'll be seeing him soon. Here we have books. You can't
have too many books in your life.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love reading. I really do.
Reduced today, even the signed copies of our own books.
Oh, great! Well,
all reduced for the convention.
I'll have a look round because there's so much to choose from here. There's so much to choose from, but I'd love to
All ours
have
are
something to read.
connecting with the earth.
Oh, brilliant!
Earth healing.
That's a really nice thing. Yeah, and there's a drum and a stone seeker. Right. You get crystals and things here.
Oh yeah,
I like these eggs most of all. Hey there. These are lovely. And finally we have another store with various materials. Hey Colin, hello. How's it going? These look lovely, don't they? Organised? It's organised, yeah. Oh, great, yeah. It's Charmaine, isn't it?
It is.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Not bad, thanks. Yeah, sorry, Cole.
That's all right.
Not bad. It's nice to get to a conference. You know how much I love them.
Yes.
I really do love them. And I've got the alien there. That's great.
My Mr. Grey.
Oh yeah. Looking really cool there. Yeah, I thought I'd seen him before. I thought I'd seen him various places. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, because I think Ben was speaking at that, and that Southampton conference, remember, it got cancelled.
We have a rather strange creature that is here. I think there he is. It's true. It's him. It's the man. It's the legend. It's the legend himself. No, we mustn't tell anyone he's here. Okay, we've got to keep it quiet. Ooh, nice. He's got a bargain T-shirt. Yeah. So I was wrong about the famous phone box. But if you want to know what I mean by the phone box, you have to watch the first Ben Goes on Tour film. It's still there, but they've moved it. They've moved it slightly, but it's still there. There we go. I think it might not be. I think it's actually some kind of garden now. So I may not be able to use it for what I used it for in the previous video, but that's okay. That's all right. Just going to go in here now, see if we can find the Milesy. That reminds me of the Martyrs Memorial in Oxford. We're sitting in this place called Heafy's, which is a coffee joint, and we're having a cup of coffee in a minute.
That's a good Irish name, that.
It does, yeah. And the Milesy's in that one over there. He's in that Mockleberry over there. So he just waved to us saying, "I'm over here. What are you doing over there?"
And Irish. That's why.
And it's sort of like it's this little heart of Glastonbury area. Yeah. There's the G&P, there's the Crown.
There's a shop named after Miles over there. Man,
yeah. But it's we've got 20 minutes before the introduction. So, and as I've said, because of last night, I'm going to be deliberately select a location near the back of the room, as I always do that mostly anyway. And I was saying to Colin, there's one problem with Glastonbury. It's this road here is so busy. The high street is like it's a through road for through traffic as well. There's no bypass for Glastonbury, so if you're going through Glastonbury, you have to go through the centre of the town. And that's good, isn't it? Yeah, I showed people earlier.
That clashes with the Watford conference.
Yeah, that's a shame.
There's a Crystal Skulls
conference. These look
and
good,
then
don't they?
On the back, an ancient
history Ascension retreat.
There you go.
Whoa, yeah, I picked up a few of those myself, So I mean, and there's not many crossings on this road either. It's got a zebra up the road past Barad-dûr, but that's about it. Which is a shame. It's a shame.
You get your own DVDs of these amazing speakers for £11.
Well, which one shall I choose?
Yeah.
Well, Colin Woolford, obviously.
Oh, thank you. Check's in the post, Ben.
Thank you.
I pay you to get my DVD.
Oh, your word. That's £11, please, Colin. I'll buy your DVD for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the auditorium, and the drapes are there. Remember these? It's the same ones, I think, from before. Or maybe some of them have changed, but I recognise a few of them. Crop circle of them. I'm here with Colin.
Hello.
Okay, we're quite near the back because, as you know, I didn't sleep too well last night. I've also been a good boy and I brought my glasses this time, so I'll be able to see what happens. And there's the podium there with the drapes on the podium. The Glastonbury Symposium. Yeah. And there is the queer old Dean, the dear old Queen. And there is, see if that hasn't changed. And chandeliers. Quite a combination. Everything's been filmed and lights and stuff. And Mr. Miles there is like put on the interway. Yeah. Mr. Miles is reminding me. Well, I'm not filming the speakers. I'm just filming myself, So, we're going to start in a minute. Okay, the first speaker is finished. It's been very interesting, actually. I'll say more in a minute. There's a guy here with that guy with a rainbow suit, a psychedelic. He asked a very good question, actually. Well, this is the state of affairs. Obviously, I can't use the famous phone box anymore from the last, because it's called Glastonbury in Bloom now, and of course it is in bloom. So there you go. But it's nice to see the old phone box still here, even though they've moved it a little bit. That's something. Anyway, that was quite a remarkable talk. I was just turn the viewfinder around. We've just come out of the Glastonbury Symposium. These are the famous steps where Ian R. Crane broke his leg, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to emulate the late great Ian R. Crane in that way. This was Ananda Sarasena, who's a really quite remarkable. Oh God, look, mushroom factory. Very nice. Hello. It's lovely. Wooden mushrooms there. You get some.
Made by me.
Oh, lovely. Thanks. That's great. So much to see here. It's hard to stay focused, but yeah, this is Ananda. Now, I'm really surprised I've not heard of this guy before. I honestly am. He's the kind of person I would have heard of before. Now, he's now apparently, according to Colin, he has been to Holmfirth before. Now, he's not spoken there. He's never been a speaker, but apparently he was there apparently at some point with his stall. I don't remember him. There's some more screeving going on there. I'll come back and see the finished results later. And there's oh God, there's just so much to see. I might have to go back the other way just so I don't get distracted while I'm doing my little talk, But he's in ISA, the one that Gary Heseltine is also involved in it. Dave Hodge and these other people are involved in ISA. And he's in something called Planetary SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Now, Planetary SETI is very different from SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the movement. As you know, I've done an entire talk about that, an entire video lecture about that. But Planetary SETI is very different. It is searching for signs of intelligence on other planets, and indeed other parts of the solar system, not of the Earth. Crossover. Not going to the GNP yet, I'll go there later. And so he mentioned, I mean, this is really a very auspicious time to be in a place like Glastonbury at this symposium, because he mentioned the hearings, and this was referred to several times. And the guy with the rainbow suit, I'll come back to him. He asked a good question, and he starts off by talking about Vimanas. Now, Vimanas are essentially like UFOs. They're described in great detail in some of the oldest texts in the world that have ever been written. For example, the Bhagavata Yana, and what was the other one? The Rig Veda, which are extremely old texts from India, which predate the Bible by several millennia. They're that old, and they may well be the written incantations of folk tales that go back even further. But he said that the Vimanas described as being powered by Mercury, but they have like both a physical and an energetic element to themselves, which you see with... There's some strange things about UFOs. The UFO phenomenon has elements, as Jacques Vallée has pointed out, has elements of both the physical and the etheric. So, and then indeed researchers tend to see... There's too many researchers that tend to focus on one and not the other. Graham Hancock talks about aliens as being beings from the visions of ayahuasca takers, psychonauts. Whereas, of course, aliens are physical. Alien extraterrestrial beings leave footprints. When they die, they leave a corpse. Things like that, which the spirits of ayahuasca don't. UFOs, of course, are solid physical objects. They appear to be metallic. There are pieces of them that have been found, things like that. Even whole intact ones have been found. And the Vimana is similar. He showed a picture of the Beatles in India, because the Beatles spent a lot of time going to India, and there's a photograph with their guru, and his name I can't remember, a very famous guru in India, and you see John Lennon at one end and Paul McCartney in the other, or is that Paul McCartney? Now, Ananda had a personal sighting. This happened when he was a school child, and he says it's very important to remember the dates because apparently it's significant. It's going to come back again at the symposium. So, it is the 8th of July 1964. The 8th of July 1964. He was a kid on his way to school with his friends in Wimbledon in South London, and he saw 3 saucer-shaped objects, and they were very big because they flew behind a cloud bank and disappeared, and he never saw them again. So they must have been quite high up and very big. There's like he showed an artist's impression of it. He showed an artist's impression of the saucer. He mentions the Earl of Clancarty, and that's interesting because the Earl of Clancarty is a bit of a mysterious figure. He knew Admiral Hill Norton, and it was he who organised the House of Lords UFO debate. A few red flags came up because he mentions George King a lot. He mentions the 1950s contactees like George Adamski and many others. One of them was a guy called Gabriel Green, who I'd never heard of. But apparently he was an American guy. He ran for US president at one point. Didn't get very far, but his campaign was based around choose a candidate for the space age, and he had in his newspaper adverts, Gabriel Green for president, choose a candidate for the space age. There was a picture of a UFO on his campaign ad. It's amazing. And George King, yeah. Now, George King was on TV, and I've actually seen this. It was in 1959. He was on the BBC, and he does a long discussion about his own experiences of meeting somebody. He was like a taxi driver in London when he was young, and then he meets somebody, a being that says he's from another planet, calls himself Aetherius. Doesn't give any more details about himself. That's not his real name, apparently. Comes from Venus, and he walks through the door he walks through solid objects and appears to George and says that he's one of the guardians of the planet. And amazingly, George King goes into trance. He puts on a pair of sunglasses and he goes into trance on TV. And you can watch this on YouTube if you want. I mean, Ananda couldn't show it because then YouTube would have struck the Glastonbury Symposium channel for copyright. Interestingly, Andy Thomas had one of his videos deleted by YouTube. We gave him a big round of applause because he did the introduction with Helen, his wife, and he did the introduction and he said that he had one of his YouTube videos deleted, and we gave him a big round of applause because we thought that must have been good. Yeah, and then he mentions something. He mentions something that I've talked about many times. This is the UN initiative. This is the Grenada initiative at the United Nations, run by Sir Eric Gairy, the country's president and UN ambassador. And I've talked many times before about the famous 1978 UN declaration on UFOs, from, issued by the member for Grenada, etc. And he shows a photograph of various people, UFO researchers, Jacques Vallée and this Eric Gairy. It's not the same one that I showed you at my talk, but it is a very important sort of historical document, I would say. And he comes on to modern research. There is on the dark side of the moon. Now, that's not just a really good album by Pink Floyd. It refers to a location. It refers to the side of the moon facing away from the Earth. And calling it the dark side is kind of a misnomer because it receives just as much sunlight as the near side. It even has phases. They're the opposite of the near side, the one facing the Earth. But if you're an ET race coming to Earth, it's the obvious place to set up a base because it's several 100,000 miles of real estate, which is, in cosmic terms, is right next door to the planet Earth. And is completely invisible. It's one of the few places in the universe that is completely invisible from the surface of the Earth for a reason other than sheer distance. So it makes sense that there would be some kind of alien presence on the dark side of the moon. And there is. And all going back to the early Soviet missions, the Zond missions, objects have been picked up on the far side of the moon that are clearly artificial. They are clear. Am I going the right way? I think I'm lost. Lost at last, as that radio show goes. News for the Soul, that was it, wasn't it? There's a wall in crater Paracelsus C. There was a wall-like structure. Yeah, it is 423 feet long and 94 feet high. And Ananda actually interviewed Arthur C. Clarke in 1981. There's a photo of him and Arthur talking. And it's odd that Clarke seems to have predicted a lot of stuff, not just in terms of technology, but in terms of things that actually happen. Very, very strange. And he says that in this photograph taken with Ananda and Arthur like this, he's got an orb above his hand. It's really strange. There's the men in black come to catch us. He mentions Sidonia. Now, as soon as he brought up Sidonia, I sort of switched off a bit because I thought, well, I know all this. This is old hat. Sidonia's kind of been done to death, hasn't it? But Mars, this region on Mars, which appears to have intelligent structures on it, and indeed, some of it even appears to resemble the Earth. Places on the Earth, especially the West Country where we are, and. It turns out that there's something else. There are some mounds, and there's something called a mound configuration. There are a series of mounds, and they're actually rather like the Egyptian pyramids, slightly bigger. But they're arranged in very, very carefully controlled. There's something spackling there again. Very carefully, obviously, artificially created or artificially artificially, what's the word? Positioned locations to encode tetrahedral geometry. And it's a completely different place. This is interesting. There was, he's written a book. There was apparently, Ananda's written a book about this, which I might get. A huge UFO, hundreds of feet across, appeared above Aldermaston. This is the UK's nuclear weapons development centre. It's near Reading in Berkshire, and a large object appeared about that, which makes sense because they're always on about our aliens, and they're always on about our aliens. Are always very interested in our nuclear weapons for various reasons. He appears to believe in climate change, but then no one's perfect. This guy. He mentioned. Then he ended his talk with a prayer for the Earth. It's like an Earth prayer. Beautiful words. I can't quite remember them. Just our pain is your pain. Wonderful. It was wonderful sentiments. Yeah. I'm back at our location now. Where we're staying at the Universal Harmony Retreat, and then there was a listeners' audience question and answer session, which was pretty good. Good questions asked. My Colin actually mentioned, he brought up the subject of school landings, because Ananda's written a book about a landing at a school in Sri Lanka in 1998. Well, landings in school playgrounds, you get them everywhere, don't you? I don't think anyone's in. I think I'm back. So here we are. Landings in school playgrounds, they're to a penny. Oh, because of course school landings, what are we talking about? We're talking about Westall. Talking about Rua. They're talking about Broadhaven. I mean, the aliens appear to have a desire to contact children in their school environment. It's very interesting. So that's a good question by Colin. They mentioned the threat narrative. Now, there's been a lot of confusion over the threat narrative and the UFO subject, because the threat narrative has been misinterpreted. In the parlance of military strategy, the word threat doesn't mean something we necessarily shoot at. It means something you don't know what it is. And I think from that context, it is reasonable to say that these objects are threats. If they can penetrate our most secure military facilities and mess around with our strategic nuclear deterrence, from the point of view of the military strategist, you have to call that a threat. Doesn't mean they're enemies, it doesn't mean they're going to do us harm, but that's what the word means, and people like Dr. Stephen Greer have misinterpreted and distorted that. Deliberately or accidentally, I don't know. Funnily enough, Ananda will not have hypnotic regression. He didn't explain why, but he says he won't touch that, because he himself has had contact experiences. Now, as you know, I've had some weird things like missing time in my life, and people have suggested hypnotic regression for me. Now, I suppose to be honest, I've been dithering over it and procrastinating, but I haven't ruled it out. I think my motivations are nervousness and things like that, not aversion to the methodology itself. Now, the guy with the rainbow suit that I showed you, this big psychedelic dresser, he was really quite interesting, because he asked a good question. He believes there is evidence to suggest that a lot of these UFO sightings are actually artificial, made by humanity. They are anti-gravity spacecraft made by humanity. Now, there's two reasons to doubt that in most cases. It is true in some cases, but not as many cases as these people believe. One of them is their behaviour. You wouldn't, something that, for example, comes out of a secret laboratory, Area 51, wouldn't be flying around the US Navy. That's how people get killed. I mean, it wouldn't be doing that. It wouldn't be flying over cities. It will be exactly like the U-2 spy plane and other craft. It will be flying secretly on secret airways at night. As you know from a previous video I made about this. No doubt there may well be anti-gravity spacecraft, but UFO sightings really can't. It can't explain all UFO sightings, contrary to this very fashionable idea that it can. Another reason is antiquity. These sightings of craft like the Tic Tac and like flying triangles and things like that go back a long way. At least to World War II, even beforehand. Now, presumably, we didn't invent anti-gravity propulsion before we invented piston-engine aeroplanes. Yet, aviators from the very invention of the aeroplane have had encounters with these beings. that was a very. I'm glad I saw the talk. I'm gonna actually miss the next one. It's not because I don't want to hear Natasha and her talk about horses. It's because I know I can't go to every single lecture here. I'll just become bamboozled through information overload. So I'm gonna set myself a much easier pace on this particular conference than I did on the one in 2010. So I've had to make some. I'm going to make some difficult decisions and drop in a few speakers. Not because they're boring. I don't want to hear them, but because exactly.
Are you sure?
Yeah, honestly, Natasha. This lady Natasha. She looks quite interesting. She does look quite interesting. What's her name? Here we go. Yeah, she's the Horse Whisperer. She's called. Was it Natasha Leach? Equine facilitated learning expert. Okay, well that sounds interesting, but I need to take a bit of a break, and I need to maybe drop a few speakers just to give myself a rest. I'm wearing my lanyard here. As you can see, I am registered. I'm booked in properly, as you can see here. Now this is very interesting because it has my name on and everything. It's like really. Oh, sorry, it has my name. This is the side. Yeah. Oh, I've just spoiled the joke I was going to tell you. The joke is that if ever I want to impress people, I just do this. I flip it around like that, and people go, "Oh my God, you're Richard Vobes!" Anyway, I'm going to take a. I'll be back for the afternoon session where there'll be another speaker, so I'll tell you more about that later. All right, ladles and jelly spoons. I'm now leaving. What I've done is I backed up my files on the laptop. It's always good to have a second to set when you're on the run. On the run, maybe it's kind of like on the run. I'm heading to meet the others, and apparently they're in some cafe somewhere, so I'm going to go and catch up with them. We've got another hour or so before the next speaker, and yeah, so like I said, I made the decision to miss Natasha Leach's talk. Now, you might think, well, you obviously don't like it, Ben, you're not interested in it, it's just obviously something that doesn't appeal to you. That's not true. It's just I can't see all the talks. I can't. If I see all the talks, I'll end up in information overload, like I did in 2010, and I'll get hyper and I'll lose my energy and I won't have time for anything else because there's just so much on the symposium. There's just so much, and I feel like I need to make some decisions and skip a few talks. So it's not easy decisions because all of them look good. The horse whispering lady, Natasha Leach, sounds interesting, but she falls short of the threshold where I can say, well, this is something I can't miss. So no offence to Natasha if she's watching. And we have also. I should point out something about. I want to say a few more words about Ananda. Interesting chap, like I said. Now I should mention he's in the Aetherius Society, and you would say, Ben, the Aetherius Society is one of these UFO cults, one of the cargo cults that you moaned about in previous videos. It's true. I don't really go along with all their beliefs, if any of their beliefs, but they're far less sinister than some of the others, such as Heaven's Gate or the Raelians. I consider the Aetherius Society actually pretty harmless people. I know a couple of people who are in it, including Richard Lawrence. And what's nice about the Aetherius Society is they have the ability to switch off, murder their darlings, and be conventional ufologists. And they do a better job than you might think. Now, a good example is the GB News. GB News have been very good at covering the UFO issue, as they're good at covering almost everything. And they had Richard Lawrence on next. They did a segment on UFOs, and they interviewed Richard Lawrence. And I thought, well, why him? Why not Richard Dolan or me, or Richard D. Hall or someone like that? Why Richard Lawrence, the Aetherius Society guy? Richard did a damn good job. He handled that interview pretty much as I would have done. He focused on the issue. He didn't even mention the Aetherius Society and any of the George King stuff. He didn't mention any of it. He just answered the questions of the interviewer, and he did it really well. And at the end of it, I was just like, yeah, well done, Richard. So that's what I feel about Ananda. I think he seems to be quite similar. He's some kind I could like relate to, you know. He's someone I could understand and relate to. So yeah, now going back to the high street, and I'm going to meet up with the others for lunch if I can find them. I mean, Colin texted me quite a while ago actually and told me where he was. He's with Miles in the coffee place we were in earlier. I'll start there and sort of work my way around in an expanding circle until I get to where I need to be. Right, all right. So Boris Johnson has been here. Look at that suit.
You can't walk around Glastonbury if you don't stand out.
Look at that suit there, yeah. That is a wicked. That's a suit almost as good as this guy's here. Yeah. This is your suit. Oh, sorry. Can I put you on my video? You're welcome. Nice. This is Storm. Hello, Storm.
Hello, mate.
Hello,
nice
Storm.
to meet
Yeah.
you.
And,
How are you, Ben?
I'm very well, thank you, Storm.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
this is a great suit you got on.
Thank you very much.
I did actually get a little sort of like long distance cameo shot of you earlier.
No problem.
I thought you really looked cool with that suit on.
Appreciate that.
I really
you,
did.
mate.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Are you enjoying yourself?
It's lovely, mate. Interesting. The second talk was brilliant.
Oh right, I had to miss that one, but the first talk with Ananda, he was very good, and so I'm looking forward to the third talk, which is
myself.
Show him all your fantastic books.
Do you want to have a look?
Did you make these? Are these your own books?
Yes, I'm the author and creator of these books. It's one book. I'll show you in order. So it's one book, The Origin of Orb, all the shapes inside Orb, the rainbow spiral of Orb, and then the guide. And it's basically the octagonal chakra system. So it's replacing the missing chakra, the indigo chakra, from the 7 chakra system, which gives you a perfect octave in geometry, mathematics, color, and every form possible.
Right.
And when you activate the chakra system, understand it and activate it, you create a double helix spiral of energy, and that's known as your aura. But it becomes a functional auric field to raise your vibration.
Oh right, cool. And this is you've written these books.
I downloaded these books over a 4-year sabbatical that I took of celibacy and poverty. So I extracted myself from the world for 4 years, and I lived in a camper van, and I lived out the bins, and I had nothing to do with humanity in any desirable way. And each day was exactly
relief sometimes.
It was very relieving. Each day was exactly the same. I would sit down after my ritual, my yoga and stuff. So when I was centered, I would sit down, and I would, after 15 minutes, begin a download. All day I would write and draw illustrations, had a beautiful painter paint them for me to make the book what it is, and that took 4 years, and after that I was very mentally tired.
I bet, yeah. These are great, these little images, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they are. I mean, my favourite is this back one where orb just goes bouncing through the sun, which is also...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love that picture.
Yeah.
Similar to the front, but...
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's,
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
I thought that's it, why you wear this amazing suit.
That's right. So the rainbow is connected with quantum physics and the double helix spiral, which we are, which I was just showing the other gentleman there.
All the shapes and
Let's go into this.
These are
one.
amazing.
Show you this.
Amazing images.
Like that. So that. Whoops. Sorry about that. Oh, there goes the coffee on the book.
The world centre of emo and above, so below. So we have the same set of chakras
From the void to the feet, as we do void to the head, where they meet. So emo is the double helix spiral of immortals, therefore it appears to connect at the portals at the top and bottom. So it appears like 2 spirals, but it's one. It's your energy body and can be explained absolutely. And I'm sure we can take this into quantum physics. I'm just going to clean the coffee off of the face.
Best way to clean it.
Yes. Nice coffee. We'll take this into quantum physics. Quantum physics deals with a reverse electromagnetic field. So you have you basically have a double helix spiral, and when you spin counter-rotating fields of light, so one rotation is anti-clockwise and one rotation is clockwise at the same pace, the same speed and the same ratio, you get what we're looking at here. So this electromagnetic orb, your aura around the body, functions from the top to the bottom, and it functions with your breath. So you nasally breathe into the void and exhale outwardly, and you breathe in and outwardly. So you can basically connect the energy body, the function of the auric field, with breathing, and it works as an electromagnetic orb EMO, electromagnetic orb, and that's your aura.
A lot of meditation is about breathing, I've noticed.
Correct.
You breathe in, breathe out. Count to 3 will you breathe in, count to 4 will you breathe out, things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I've learned from that, Ben, is that the most important thing, without any difficulty, is nasal breathing. You find most people breathe through their mouths. If we looked around now and studied people, you'll find they're breathing through their mouth. What's the reason for that? Stress.
Yes, because they're anxiety or exertion. Yeah, because I do the same. Like if I'm walking briskly, I'll breathe from my mouth, and or running, walking briskly or running. Yeah.
But when you started that walk, maybe you were breathing through your nose, or more calmly at least.
Yeah, if I'm sitting still like this,
right,
I do breathe through my nose. Yeah.
Right. And as soon as you exert yourself and become stressed, you breathe through your mouth.
Yeah.
Imagine a runner. He's standing on the beginning of the marathon. He's fine, breathing through his mouth, looking at the ladies. 10 kilometers down the line, he's not concentrating on the ladies. He's gasping for breath through his mouth. Why? Because he's stressed. So in reverse, mouth breathing and stress are completely connected. Nasal breathing and relaxation are connected. Why? Because in the pineal gland, when we breathe through the nose, we activate melatonin, which relaxes us, and in the end is the hormone that puts you to sleep.
It does, that's right, yeah.
When you breathe through the mouth, you activate adrenaline, serotonin, which is what activates you, makes you stimulated. So you can see how breathing through the mouth stresses you, called stimulation in the positive, and breathing through the nose relaxes you. So when you connect nasal breathing with focused visualization of your electromagnetic field, it works like this, from head to toe, into the void, and exhale outwards. So you inhale to the void and you exhale outwards, and it's always nasal. In through the nose, it's up to you if it's out through the mouth. That's a cyclical breathing, and once you connect it with your auric field and the movement of the energy, you're vibrating and working at a very high energy level that can be calculated on machinery, like an ECG.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. That's brilliant. Thanks very much,
It's a pleasure, Ben. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
So now we know what he's been doing since he quit as an MP.
I just choose my lies and then I spun. Maybe basically my taxi.
Brilliant.
Because you had to ask yourself, Stan, Brexit. Was it worth it?
Yes.
You see, I don't miss start a war.
Outside this place, what's called the Queen of Cups with Kolbahar, and we're going to go back into the auditorium because they're starting like in about 25 minutes. I've got some food to eat. I may not be able to eat it in the auditorium, but I might have to scoff it beforehand. But yes, it's interesting. It's quite funny. I suppose you only get this in Glastonbury, but you may have noticed when the Boris Johnson impersonator, I put some money in his hat actually because I thought he was very good. When he held up the sign saying, "Was Brexit worth it?" and I said, "Yes." You might have heard someone next to me saying, "No," and then she turned and laughed at me. I mean, that's the only time I've been in that situation where someone hasn't glared at me and gone, "You fascist, misogynist, racist." So, only in Glastonbury can that happen, I think. We're very far in Glastonbury without seeing this something like this. This gentleman here. Hello, sir. It's like he's got these things down here. Oh, night at the Abbey. All right. Great. Again, only in Glastonbury. Back in here for the beginning of the afternoon session on the Friday. I just want to show you these drapes in more detail. How lovely that is. There's the sun shining through Stonehenge. Maria Wheatley would like that. There's the stage, you see. Yeah. That's nice. I don't know if that's a grey's head or some kind of crystal. On these stones here, they look like megalithic. It's a megalithic structure.
That's okay.
You actually see crop circles. They've got colours in them. Thanks. Did you see that? Oh, that's amazing. There's some other crop circles behind there. That's the Julia set there. And there's more of these hung over the auditorium. I remember some of these from last time. I think it may have some new ones. These are all based on crop circle designs. Amazing. Okay, so very interesting speaker on here next. He's going to talk about the Canadian trucker protest. So Trevor, if you're watching, this will be right up your street as well, mate. Guys, I'm outside the famous phone box. I thought I'd just pay a little tribute to it. I'm here with Colin, and we've just seen Adrian C. Smith. I'll tell you what, the moment I see Trevor Murray, Trevor, if you're watching this, you've got to read this guy's book and you've got to talk about him. He did a brilliant lecture on the trucker protests, and he talks about there's lots of things to do. The Emperor Has No Clothes, and George Orwell talking about doublethink, about how you can believe two contradictory things. The good example is there's no such thing as white people. White people have no identity, and also white people are privileged. Those two are contradictory items. Either there is no such thing, either there are no people to be privileged, or there are privileged people and therefore they exist. That's an example I thought of, not him. But he says there's different categories of people, and one of the most common is category 1 people, he said, which is people who believe that everything is normal. Everything that's happened is right, it's normal. As Neil Oliver says, the government have your best interests at heart. Sometimes they make mistakes, and sometimes they get things wrong, and they ineptly try to institute their benevolence, but basically they're good people who want what's best for you. And as Neil Oliver said, that's actually not true. And it's another word for that is ontological shock is another word that sounds similar to that, which has become more recently associated with the UFO phenomenon. It was David Grush actually coined the phrase ontological shock. Yes, of course, what we're talking about here, of course, is the Emergencies Act of 1988 in Canada. And there's something called the Rudloe report, which states that none of the conditions for introducing that act were met. And the government started saying really weird things. Trudeau started saying something like the shocking lack of violence. What was the other one? He said protest is allowed, but as long as it doesn't challenge government policy, which again is a double thing. And of course, informed consent. I mean, they broke the law. I mean, lots of countries did this. They blatantly broke international law because all medical treatment has to come with informed consent. And if there's any duress at all, then it's that goes out the window. We've made this point many times during the lockdown, the pandemic. And of course, he's just reading scripts from the World Economic Forum, just like Jacinda Ardern. It's who said we are your only source of truth. Phrases like "build back better." Schwab himself says, "Let's take this opportunity of the coronavirus to rebuild the world in our image." It's so blatant. And of course, what's it? We are your one single source of truth," said Jacinda Ardern, and she blatantly talked about having this is before the emergency stop in November 2021. She blatantly talked about having a two-tier society and saying that's exactly what they want, a two-tier society where people who are vaccinated have privilege and those who do not. And it's just called encouragement, even though it was coercion. It was always called encouragement. So anyway, more details about Adrian Smith, www.aprisonforthemind.com. So we'll probably say more about him later. But we don't have very long until the next speaker, so we're going to go back now. Colin, what do you think of that, though?
Yeah, no, it's good. Very good. Yeah, very interesting.
Maybe we'll say more later because Colin and I, we're going to go back together. So I'll pick his brains on camera like I normally do. So
I'm sure they would, that sort of terminology, they would probably say cock up rather than conspiracy or
never believe
coincidence.
Never believe in conspiracies when it could be a coincidence or a cock up. Why? Are those things more likely? It seems it's not the case. Anyway, see you later. Look at this. This is the Screever is finished now. Look, the mind is not the body is in the mind. David Icke, the track. Gaz Young at BitChute. So you can make a note of these guys. Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one.
The Crow House he's got here. UK column, yeah. No nations. Whatever. Yeah, oh, that's beautiful, isn't that? Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Yes. That's perfect. That's brilliant, I think. That's great, mate. I really. Where are the others? They've gone on ahead, haven't they? Well, guys, we're actually in the G&P. We're back again. We're probably going to have dinner, and we're in the beer garden outside because, well, as Gemma rightly said, you know, we've been indoors all day in the dark, so there you go.
Lab rats.
Like lab rats, yeah. I'll say more about Wendy Stacey in a little while, but you know, generally I can say I'm not an enthusiast for astrology, but I don't discount it. I do take it seriously. As I said this to Helen Sewell, when I think I interviewed her years ago. That's Andy Thomas's wife. I said, you know, I don't mind a bit of, I'm quite interested in the subject, you know. I'm not actually an expert in it, but all I know is I'm Libra, and I sort of fit that personality type, as you know. If you know, I'm very stubborn about sort of like matters of principle, which is what Libras are like. I tend to we have a tendency to be indecisive and ponder everything a little bit too much. Again, that's one of our negative traits, which I think you would say I do. Things like that. That's really all I really know about it in detail. But anyway, we're here. Colin is with us. We've deliberately chosen a table which does not have the gender study professor's apron hanging over it, or the other gender study professor's apron. And so we're now just gonna. I'm pretty hungry actually. All I've eaten today is a few crisps.
Did I leave the menu on?
Oh no, I had a sandwich. Didn't I?
So I left the menu in there.
So I'll say a little bit more about Wendy Stacey. She's sort of like a sort of large middle-aged lady, as astrologers tend to be.
That's not true.
That's not true. No, because Helen Sewell's quite slim, but you know, it's just I suppose it's a stereotype, like the mediums, you know. Strong New Zealand accent. Says she used to like Jacinta Ardern and doesn't anymore, and I wonder what even made her like her in the first place. God knows what. But anyway, she says we're going through a time of huge change. I know you hear that an awful lot. You hear that everywhere, don't you? But she said it's to do with alignments of Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, and Jupiter and Neptune. And it hasn't been for 800 years since this happened. And she says the last time something strange happened, there were two conjunctions that happened in 2020 and also in 1518. In 1518 they had the dancing disease, whereas in 2020 we had the sitting at our home and doing nothing disease. She mentions St. Francis of Assisi and how Pope Francis took on the name of St. Francis of Assisi. And incidentally, those of you who watch me regularly will know I discussed the legend of St. Malachi, which, if it's proven true, it means that Francis is the last Pope. And then there'll be the apocalypse and stuff, etc.
Lots to look forward to, huh?
This surprised me. She mentioned Alfonso X of Castile. Now, he apparently invented the language of Spanish. Now, I didn't know this, but Spanish is actually a constructed language. I'll have to look into that. I don't know about that. But and he also says Pluto is in Aquarius, and that's an air. That means the age of air rather than Earth. On June the 23rd, or June this year, Pluto entered Capricorn. It's going to be there till January next year. Then in September next year is going to enter Capricorn again until November 2024. So it's only a short time in Capricorn, just over about a month. And then it'll stay in Aquarius till 2043. And apparently, this means it's the power and destroyer. Pluto is ruthless and takes no prisoners, and this represents a shift, a massive shift in our society. Pluto is like the air. The fact we're entering an age of air means a lot to do with the air, such as flying and travelling, and also space and the cosmos. And of course, and she did mention it, this brings us onto the UFOs, doesn't it? Our place in the universe. And of course, that could explain why the truth is coming about UFOs. Anyway, I must confess, I did get drowsy during this talk. It wasn't because she was boring. It was because I didn't sleep very well last night, so I did nod off a few times. I was also being influenced by Storm's psychedelic jacket sitting behind me. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Technicolor Dreamcoat was sitting behind me, and I could like feel it. I couldn't see him, but the colours were so bright they were burning into the back of my head. Yeah. New screevings here, where this is where the Bojo impersonator was. The Who. Love. There's people who play noughts and crosses as well, by the look of things. And this is Boom. Hoggin. And there, of course, is the Coventry thing again. Oh, so lovely. Some more pavement art there. Then back to the cabin. Just done some shopping, just bought some wine and coffee. And we're going to head back and just put them away. Honestly, I'm feeling very tired right now, and I probably won't be. We're going to go back to the G&P and have dinner with Colin, and hopefully the others, although they've booked a separate table. And then I probably won't be out much later than that because I'm really exhausted. I find it's the group I'm with at the moment actually. It's a bit difficult to keep up with them because they tend to like. It's one of these situations where you're with a group which is made up of several other groups, and the other group know each other really well, and so the conversation tends to dissolve into a series of monologues with just 2 or 3 of the people there, which makes it difficult. It makes it a bit difficult to communicate for me. You see what I mean? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just normal group dynamics, and it can't really be avoided. But I'm going to go back and have dinner with Colin and probably the others as well. Be fun, and then hopefully I'll sleep better tonight than I did last night. It's all dropped off, so now I'm heading back to the G&P. I think I may have showed you this earlier, but if not, we're all wearing these lanyards with our names on, and they are sort of our identification marks, so we can get in and out the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast that attends the Glastonbury Symposium, that is. So everyone knows who I am, that's my name. Now the good thing about these is that I've got a ticket in here which is for a Sunday night event, a special Sunday night event that's included in my fee because I've bought a weekend ticket. So if I want to impress people, I just do this. I just go, oh my god, they say you're Richard Robes. Yeah. No, I'm missing the next speaker. Well, apparently he hasn't turned up, and they've had to they've had to do something impromptu to make up for it. Apparently, yeah, he's not turned up or something like that. Anyway, I'm heading back to the G&P. But now there is someone at the Avalonian Free State Choir are going to sing at 7:30. Now they're really like a music ensemble, and so I'm hoping maybe to go and see them. I think there's a quicker way to go down here actually. Hoping to go and see them. Then there's a speaker. There's a speaker at 8 o'clock who I very much want to see. I can't remember her name, but she talks about out-of-body experiences, the Monroe Institute, things like that. So I really want to see that person. So that's 8 p.m. That's the final speaker of Friday. Before then, there's another guy. Now I've decided to give him a miss. He seems a bit odd, to be honest. He's very into blood. Yes, he seems like blood. So Mr. Dracula, or whatever his name is, I'll show you. That's not his name. I'll show you what his name is. But anyway, I'm teasing a bit, because I'm sure that's not a fair judgment of him. But he is sort of like one of these. He sort of like analyses people's blood, and he works things out to do with their energy and stuff like that. And then for a reasonable fee, he'll analyse your blood. Problem is, he has to take some of it out and. Well, I don't know what he does. Does he have? I'm not sure exactly how he does that. Whether he has a lancet, or whether he extracts it through a beam of light, like aliens do in the Colaris case. I don't know exactly how he removes this blood from people, but I'll try and find out. But anyway, this is another talk I'm willing to miss. Now, the horse lady, the first talk I missed earlier, and this is Natasha Leach. Everyone who went to see it said it's really, really good, and if I'd gone there, I'd have really liked it. Okay, baby. You see, I was making a judgment based on, for speakers I don't know anything about, based on their blurb. So maybe I would, and one of them even said, Ben, we'll get the DVD and we'll lend it to you, or you can come round and watch it, because it's like going to be really good. So maybe that's the case. In which case, fine. I mean, I don't actually regret not me going to that talk this morning, because it would have been just a bit much. It would have been kind of information overload for me. It would have been just a bit much. So again, I think I stick by the decision I made, but you know, but I'm open to the idea that maybe if I had seen it, I would have enjoyed it. I've always been open to that idea. Anyway, I have eaten at the Georgian Pilgrim before. They do have, if I remember rightly, they cook good. They do make good food, and they're not too expensive. So I'm actually going to think I'm quite looking forward to having dinner tonight when I get there. So I'm going back a different way. I know if you head towards Barradura and then turn right at some point, you get into the car park behind the G&P. So that's what I'm doing. Basically, the pub is built around a kind of alleyway. You can see in the olden days used to be like open. It has like flagstones on the floor. Now it's covered. It's a corridor. But it leads to those outdoor benches in the beer garden I showed you, and the car park is beyond it. The pub car park sort of like gives way to a public car park, and then from there it's just easier. Otherwise I go all the way to High Street and go around through the front of the pub. I could do that as well, but I think I'll go this way instead. Some more non-conformist folk art here, which is not exactly a rarity in Glastonbury. The pubs over there, look, peace and love and public toilets. What a combination. And keep going across here, and if you're ever in Glastonbury, it's worth knowing this, that the G&P actually has a huge beer garden, and it never seems to get overcrowded, despite the fact it's the most famous pub in Glastonbury. And yeah, I can see a strange beast over there already. Let's have a look. What's he up to? Yeah, he's looking very, very thoughtful, eh? Yes, indeed. Yes, I've come back to the right place. And well, most of them are still here, but some. Well, Tony's gone, but the rest of them are gone anyway. Hi. Hello. What happened to Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? Has he gone somewhere else? Who? You know, Storm.
Storm's doing business. I think he's on some very important business, probably talking to somebody else. And I queried him on his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I thought it was enormously expensive. In fact, it's quite cheap. Anybody can order them.
Oh yeah, you can order them anywhere. I mean, it looks not like I've got one, but well, Ben, you can get like novelty. You can get novelty.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
I think this is the challenge. Can Ben be seen walking around in a grubby t-shirt or a fancy, enormously expensively looking, elaborate suit?
Did you think it would suit me?
With a waistcoat.
Oh yeah.
With the collar bund or bobber bund.
Like the gimbal picture.
It is, yes. It's sort of faded a bit, but it's actually from UFO Jesus. It's just the beginning. But,
don't worry,
I'm not. That's fake on the T-shirt, and it's fake when it's a $50 million fake.
Well, I don't think so.
The point is, it's a $50 million fake. The damn thing's only traveling at 40 miles an hour. The only thing that's important is the challenge has been set.
All right.
Ben F. Lewent Jones in a fancy suit.
Do you want to see that, viewers? Yeah, of course they do. Anyway, I think Miles is wrong about it being fake, but that's a 2-hour debate we'll have to have off camera.